Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman's Truck Series. It is round 2 of the season, and we are getting all set for the FR8 208 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's the beginning weekend. For the first time this year, we bring you live coverage of the Truck Series. Last week's Daytona race is being uploaded, so you can catch up on that as well. Let's cross over, though, to our commentary team on the Motorsport Racing Network.
You can do it under green and under yellow. Our stages today, stage 1 will end at lap 30, stage 2 at lap 60, the final stage 75 laps. Hopefully the full distance today, we won't go overtime, never can tell, is 135 laps in the Freight 208.
2 years ago, we went overtime, and on this new Atlanta Motor Speedway, we've only had one overtime finish on this particular configuration, which is surprising. Hey, if we go into overtime, bonus laps are always fun. That means there was a lot of action on the racetrack, and I think not only is the action going to be on the racetrack, Mark, but the action is actually going to be on pit road when they do pull into their stalls as well.
No doubt about it. If you get overtime, you usually get more than one, so we could be in for a double or triple bonus later on today.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, we're about to go downstairs for opening ceremonies here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Freight 208. Race number 2 in the 2025 schedule for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Always exciting to see what happens here with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as we now go trackside for opening ceremonies.
At this time, we ask that you please rise as you are able, remove your hats, and veterans render a hand salute as the Georgia Department of Public Safety Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome the lead pastor for Canton First Baptist Church, Cliff Pace.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for today. What a great day for some racing. Thank you for the Atlanta Motor Speedway and sponsors like Freight Auctions that make this day possible. We thank you for the workers, the teams, the crews, the drivers, and their families who sacrifice so much to entertain us. We ask for your protection over them, the crews and the drivers today as they compete. Lord, would you bless this great nation and keep us free. Protect our troops serving all over the world. And above all, thank you for your goodness and your grace we have in Christ Jesus. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome rising country music star and South Carolina native, Joshua Graham.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And that puts the wraps on our pre-race coverage. Coming up next, the Freight 208 with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
NASCAR Live Race Day has been brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com.
When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
NASCAR fans, get ready to feel the rush. The official NASCAR Tracks app is your ultimate race day companion. From managing your event tickets to navigating with wayfinding maps, event schedules, and facility info, it's got everything you need to make your experience unforgettable.
Ready, green flag, green
Bring
flag.
your headphones and dive into the action like never before with live scanner access.
Got a race to win, my man.
Listen in on driver and team communications at select NASCAR Tracks. Download NASCAR Tracks now in the Apple App Store or Google Play.
When we come back, the command of fire engines. From Atlanta Motor Speedway, you're listening to the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
On Thursdays, NASCAR Live goes wide open with some of the biggest names in the sport.
The goal is the same, so the mindset's the same. All right, the goal is to win the championship.
And some familiar voices that you might not have heard from in a while.
You know, I thought about going to one of these teams because I'd really like to win the 500.
I never planned any of this to start with, right from the very beginning.
No matter what driver or what era is your favorite, NASCAR Live Wide Open has every corner of the fan base covered. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts.
Looking for weekly motorsports podcasts to stay up to date on what's happening on and off the track? The Motor Racing Network is the place. Hear from NASCAR crew chiefs on MRN Crew Call. All the happenings from regional touring series and local tracks on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Sprint Car Talk on Winged Nation. NASCAR history on MRN Classic Races. And hear from the drivers on NASCAR Live. MRN podcasts available on MRN.com, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform. Live on the NASCAR Racing Network. It's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Let's get a big thumbs up. Get ready to rock and roll past the race cars today, pal. Hey, boys, let's execute. Have a good day.
Today, the Freight 208 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com. By Straight Talk Wireless. Real unlimited data for fans of fast. Official partner of NASCAR. And by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco fuels peak performance.
Last week at Daytona Beach, it was both the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat for Parker Kligerman in the Truck Series. He took the checkered flag after a wreck fest on the last lap.
Parker Kligerman is the leader, but now they're wrecking behind him. Lane Riggs gets turned. He's in the outside wall. More trucks stand off for.
Caution and checkers in the air. Again, halfway down the short straightaway, headed to the tri-oval when the caution lights came on. That freezes the field. Parker Kligerman has won the Fresh from Florida 250 at the Daytona International Speedway.
But Kligerman's truck did not pass post-race inspection when competition officials found that it failed to meet ride height requirements, measuring too low in the rear. So the victory went to Corey Heim.
It's my first time having this kind of scenario happen either way, so certainly glad to be on the right side of it. Sucks for Parker and those guys. They seem like they're obviously supposed to put themselves in position at the right time to win the race, but first win under the Toyota Gazoo Racing banner, which is cool. So move on to Atlanta, try to get another one.
Today, Heim is back at his home track in Atlanta, ready to face off in the Freight 208 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And every lap is right here on the NASCAR Racing Network.
Here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, again, you could not have better weather for the Craftsman Truck Series to take the green flag in the Freight 208. And guess what? It'll be great weather later today for the Xfinity Series, the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250, and the Ambetter Health 400 tomorrow. They say it's going to be even warmer with still all the sunshine.
Yeah, pretty crazy to think about the cold snap that's gone across our country this week, and degrees below freezing here in the south in Atlanta, Georgia when we woke up this morning. Right now, however, the temperature sitting at a nice 50 degrees. Well, the drivers are getting buckled into their pickup trucks here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. They're getting ready to fire them up and take the green flag in this event. A lot of excitement here in Atlanta with the doubleheader race day. We already saw earlier today Ryan Blaney capture the pole for the Ambetter Health 400. Let's go trackside now for the command.
And now, race fans, here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome the lead mechanic for freight racing, Will Coates, accompanied by his wife Kara and their children Holland and Wade.
Drivers, start your engines!
Now, here's the starting lineup.
The starting lineup for the Freight 208, 32 trucks will take the green flag. Outside of row 16 in the Carroll's Automotive Toyota, it'll be Justin Carroll. Starting 31st, Keith McGee, the Moorcore Ford. 30th on the grid, Bailey Curry, the Mast Owl Technologies DQS Chevrolet. Then it's the Matrix CAD Design Incorporated Ford for Josh Rayum in 29th. 28th, Chandler Smith, the Quick Tie Ford. Then it's the Toyotsu Chevrolet for Spencer Boyd, 27th. 26th, Tanner Gray, the Place of Hope Toyota. Then it's the DQS Deal Badger Chevrolet for Caden Honeycutt, 25th. 24th, Matt Mills, the JF Electric Chevrolet. Then it's the Sound Gear Toyota for William Sawalich, 23rd. Outside row 11, starting 22nd in the First Auto Group Toyota, it's Gio Ruggiero. Then starting 21st, Frankie Muniz in the NuggetTrap.com Ford.
Rolling off 20th, Nathan Bird, the Sonesta International Hotels Chevrolet. The Safe Light Toyota of Corey Heim will start 19th. 18th will be Tony Breidinger, the Women's Sports Foundation Toyota, and the Delaware Life Chevrolet of Michael McDowell will start 17th. 16th will be Lane Riggs, the Northside Hospital Ford. Starting 15th, Dawson Sutton, the Rackley Roofing Chevrolet. The Telcel Chevrolet of Andres Perez Delar will start 14th. Luke Fanhouse starts 13th in the SodaSense Ford. Ty Majeski will start 12th, the SodaSense Curb Records Ford. And starting 11th, Matt Crafton, the Serta Menards Ford.
Now the top 10, outside of row number 5 in the Campers Inn RV Ford, it's Ben Rhodes. To his inside, starting 9th in the Gainbridge Chevrolet, it's Kyle Busch. The Halmar International Toyota for Stuart Friesen goes off 8th. 7th, Tyler Ankrum in the Liuna Chevrolet. The Quanta Services Ford of Jake Garcia is 6th on the grid. 5th, Jack Wood, the Adaptive One Caliper Chevrolet. Moving up to row 2 on the outside in the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet, it's Raja Karuth. To his inside, going off 3rd, Daniel Hemrick, the Napa Auto Care Chevrolet. And now the front row on the outside, starting 2nd in the Champion Power Equipment Chevrolet, it's Grant Enfinger. And on the pole for the first time of his career and the first time in 2025, first time at Atlanta, Connor Mozak, the Friends of Jacqueline Foundation Chevrolet. His speed 173.418 miles per hour.
And that's your starting lineup for today's Freight 208 from Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Kyle Larson brings his Chevy 4 tires Sunoco Racing Fuel.
From fueling NASCAR champions on the track for over 20 years to innovating 94 octane, the highest octane on the market. Performance is what Sunoco does. All Sunoco fuel at the pump meets the same top-tier standards as the fuel used in NASCAR.
Here for Ryan Blaney, 4 tires with Sunoco fuel.
From the track to your tank, you can trust Sunoco to help your vehicle perform at its peak.
Looking for weekly motorsports podcasts to stay up to date on what's happening on and off the track? The Motor Racing Network is the place. Hear from NASCAR crew chiefs on MRN Crew Call. All the happenings from regional touring series and local tracks on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Sprint Car Talk on Winged Nation. NASCAR history on MRN Classic Races. And hear from the drivers on NASCAR Live. MRN podcasts available on MRN.com, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform.
The 32 trucks are in tow behind a bunch of Ford Broncos out front pacing the field right now. We're getting set to go green here in the Freight 208. From Atlanta Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
NASCAR's only street race returns to the streets of Chicago July 5th and 6th. Lock in your ticket to summer thrills now. Visit NASCARChicago.com for more.
The dry spell is over for Alex Bowman. 90-degree right-hand turn remains. He makes it perfectly out onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is in the air, and Alex Bowman has won in the streets of Chicago.
We're back at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, just moments away from the green flag in the Freight 208, race number 2 for the Craftsman Truck Series here in 2025.
Well, let's take a sweep of pit road and see who our pit reporters think might wind up in victory lane when this one is all said and done after 135 laps. We're going to start first with Wendy Venturini.
Well, I'm probably going to get some hate comments not picking a regular Truck Series competitor, but I know he's going to win today, and that's a repeat by Kyle Busch.
All right, thank you, Wendy. We asked you who was going to win. We didn't ask for a dark horse, so I like that one. Andrew Curlin, who's your pick today?
Yeah, well, Wendy went with the easy one, Kyle Busch. I really like the guy who's starting in second, Grant Enfinger. If you remember 1 year ago, he was leading with 6 laps to go before ultimately getting passed by Kyle Busch, but I like his chances. He felt confident pre-race, so give me the 9, Grant Enfinger.
I love it. And the field is actually going down pit road, Mark, setting their tachometers for pit road speed. But pretty soon they'll be back on the track in anger here in Atlanta.
45 miles per hour is the pit road speed today. Again, under green, they enter in turn 3. They can go 90 miles an hour till they get to the front entrance, and then they have to slow to 45. Under yellow, it's 45 all the way around. The pace car driver, Eric Johnson, the NASCAR starter today, Rich Keeter, and we're about set to get the green flag. He's about to get it in motion here.
Yes, we are. Let's go back out to the turns right now, and we'll start with Atlanta's own Fireball, Doug Turnbull. What's it look like in 1 and 2?
Hey, thank you, Brad. The the trucks are making another pace lap here. It's so good to call trucks here on this NASCAR Racing Network as they come through turn number 2 with your pole sitter Connor Mozak in a bunch of pastel colors. He's a first-time pole sitter in this truck series, and we're going to see him wind up to action here in the next lap or 2, and pretty soon they'll again be in the sights of you, Pat Patterson.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this, Doug. Once again, happy race day, everybody. The field right now midway down the backstretch, and it's going to be fun to see how fast they can either separate from each other or how well they can run with each other this afternoon here. 2 lanes, 3 lanes, what's it going to be down here in 3 and 4? As I told you earlier, it's going to be very critical getting into this corner and getting off the corner, particularly with all the traffic you got. Let's set the top 10 for you right here. In row number 5, it'll be Ben Rhodes and Kyle Busch lining up together. Row number 4, Stuart Friesen alongside Tyler Ankrum. Row 3, Jake Garcia. Inside, it'll be Jack Wood. In the second row, Rajah Caruth and Daniel Hemrick will fire off together. And on the front row here, it will be Grant Enfinger and Connor Mozak. Those trucks making their way right now off of turn number 4. We're going to find out who can haul that freight this afternoon, guys.
And the lights are about to go off. The Mustang Dark Horse pace car, as the 1-to-go signal has been given by our NASCAR starter. Again, want to remind you, this is a very quick race. Lap 30 brings an end to stage number 1. Stage 2 at lap 60. The final stage, 75 laps long to make up 135 laps in the Freight 208.
Yeah, we know we're going to have a round of pit stops in the final stage of the race. That is going to be a given, Mark. We'll have to wait and see just what they decide to do after stage number 1, how important track position is. The aerodynamics of the trucks in the Craftsman Truck Series do lend itself that if you have a truck that can move through the field, it will move through the field. So I think that's a huge benefit to them. But still, that does not take away the importance of pit road and being able to get 5 off, 5 on for each one of those 4 Goodyear tires. Make sure you not only execute a great solid pit stop, Mark, but make sure you get all the Sunoco fuel packed in your truck. You don't know how long this race is going to go potentially, and you want to make sure you have enough to go beyond the advertised distance.
We have seen them won and lost by how much fuel is left there in the fuel cell. No doubt about that. Again, we're about a half a lap away from turning them loose here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Pat Patterson, you all buckled up, ready to go?
Oh, I'm excited, Mark. This is going to be a lot of fun watching the field right now enter over here in turn 3. And guys, you said it earlier. Back earlier this week, I wouldn't have bet you anybody that showed up out here without a snowmobile suit on. That's how cold it was, Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday here. But right now, it's beautiful. The sun is out. The fans are here today. Great to see them in the stands. We're looking forward to a fantastic Craftsman Truck Series race this afternoon.
And those fans now rise. Nobody is sitting down as we get set to start the Freight 208. Lights are off the pace car. Again, Eric Johnson behind the controls there. He'll head for pit road. We're about to get underway here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Freight 208. Again, Connor Mozak, Grant Enfinger leading them to the green flag, easing their way towards the start-finish line. The green flag is waving. Mozak gets a good jump. Enfinger tries to draw alongside as they enter turn number 1.
And Mozak's going to have a nose ahead, leading the bottom line with Daniel Hemrick in tow there as they try to situate themselves here into turn number 2. Up high, it's Grant Enfinger with a big push of Raza Caruth as Daniel Hemrick's going to try to change lanes to the outside.
Yeah, Hemrick will slide up into that second spot. Enfinger back to third. Up front, it's Mozak leading into turn number 3. A lot of jockeying down there in that bottom lane. Here comes Jack Wood on the bottom as well, but it's Mozak that's going to lead them all 4.
Power move from Jack Wood on the inside. He goes up to second, starts to look to the inside of Mozak, is not able to make it happen. Started to look to the outside, but here comes that second lane.
These trucks looking squirrely here to turn number 1. Connor Mozak controlling both lines. He goes and picks up Jack Wood, his teammate, on the bottom line. And then Tyler Ankrum runs behind them with Daniel Hemrick leading that well-formed outside lane.
Jack Wood.
Methodical about when you make the passes, right? If you go down there just like Kyle did, right? You go down to the bottom, try to make a pass. If you can't clear that truck and get back up in line.
Seem to have lost audio from trackside at the moment, so we'll join the Fox booth if they ever start working.
9 trucks against the wall.
How long do they stay single file? Connor Mozak, Jack Wood, Tyler Ankrum, Daniel Hemrick, Kyle Busch, your top 5 as they head to 1.
And Stuart Friesen is
So, coverage gone at the moment, but we're doing our best to get it back to you ASAP. What an interesting start. We've got the boys back. Looks like we're having trouble connection from trackside, which is unusual at the moment. So we'll try and bring it all back to you quite quickly here for the Freight 208. Right now, Connor Mozak leading the way by 1/10 of a second to Jack Wood. Tyler Ackrum running in 3rd place. Danny Hemrick running in 4th as well. So they're still bringing it around on the outside line. There's still a lot to do. Apparently, we've lost the internet connection servers at the track. So the broadcast software isn't actually broadcasting anything at the moment. That's not the best use of time to try and get through at the moment. We've got our internet back there. We've got the access back
inside,
to the boys.
And they're passing him like...
Let's return to the coverage.
Things heating up just a bit back there for 8th. Lane Riggs has the spot. Ben Rhodes all over him as they work their way down the front straightaway, heading back to the banking in turn 1.
Indeed, yeah, Lane Riggs there in the 34 this season, not the 38, but still with Front Row Motorsports. But now they're trying to get back in line, and they stay single file with still your leader, Mozak.
Here comes Ben Woods on the inside now. He'll try to make a move going in on Matt Crafton. Down to the bottom of the racetrack he goes. Bright orange truck. He'll make some ground down there as he hugs that bottom line, but the train is going to come around him.
Wow, Ben Rhodes did make up a lot of ground. He's able to grab one more position. The big question is, if that bottom stays open, is he going to be able to make up more?
And it looks like there's going to be more action as Corey Heim, past winner here. He goes to the inside of Matt Crafton for about the 10th spot. He's trying to get in between the Rhodes and Crafton machines, but won't make it happen this time.
Corey Heim now slips back, once again trying to make a move on the bottom. Not going to work out for him. 5 trucks are going to ride by him into turn 3, but he'll remount that charge down at the bottom of the racetrack. Meanwhile, Connor Mozak leads off 4.
Again on the bottom right now, Corey Heim trying to find a way in. Ty Majeski has gone by. Now here lining up to the outside of Heim is Stuart Friesen.
And Stuart Friesen's there in that spot. Up ahead of them, Rajah Caruth getting a big-time push from Lane Riggs for about that 6th or 7th position there. It looked like Riggs was going to get out of the line, but he tucks back behind him.
Almost pushed him into the wall from what I could see there, Doug, going into your end of the racetrack. Now that settles down a bit. Caruth falls back in line. Once again, getting kind of racy back in about the 11th and 12th position on 4.
Up front, it's still Connor Mozak leading the way. Jack Wood running in second, but Doug Turnbull, I almost feel like Jack Wood has a faster truck.
It sure looks like it. He can get deeper into the turns and make it stick there as they're taking the middle lane right now through turns 1 and 2. Mozak fades up high and keeps Wood, his teammate, behind him for now.
Unlike the Xfinity cars and Cup cars, these things punch such a big hole in the air that it's easy to get separated if you're down there on the bottom of the racetrack. Don't tell Ben Rhodes that, though. He's driving down to the bottom, trying to make up some ground.
Ben Rhodes on the bottom slides up just a bit, but he's hanging tough on the inside. Tried to get by Rajah Caruth and Lane Riggs. Couldn't do it. Falls back in line.
And a neon orange truck there for Ben Rhodes as he tries to go to the bottom, goes back to the top. Now stuck on the inside line. Looks like it's that 66 machine. His teammate Luke Finhouse also trying to make some moves as Ben Rhodes goes to the inside again.
Yeah, Rhodes is anxious to get a position or two here as he tries to work the bottom of the racetrack. So far, so good. He's gotten himself all the way up to 7th, but can he get back in line? Awfully close. Rajah Caruth not giving him any room.
They almost touched. Rajah Caruth got loose. Ben Rhodes lost all of his momentum. He'll have to settle back in as we've completed 11 laps in stage number 1 here at Atlanta.
For 3 decades, Racing Electronics has been the #1 choice for scanners, headsets, and all race day communications needs. Racing Electronics provides the ultimate NASCAR fan. Hear uncensored communication from every team in the race with a scanner from Racing Electronics, or tune into the MRN radio broadcast. To learn more, visit racingelectronics.com today. Be race ready, be RE equipped.
Do you have an unused car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
13 laps of 30 in stage number 1 are complete as Connor Mozak continues to lead Jack Wood, Tyler Ankrum, and Daniel Hemrick. From Atlanta Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
16 laps down, 14 to go in stage number 1 of the Freight 208 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the NASCAR Racing Network.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway alongside Mark Garrow. My name is Brad Gilley. Joining us in the turns, Doug Turnbull and Pat Patterson. We have Wendy Venturini and Andrew Curlin covering pit road. Our top 10 look like this as we have just completed lap number 17. Connor Mozak leads teammates Jack Wood, Tyler Ankrum, and Daniel Hemrick. Running 5th is Grant Enfinger. Lane Riggs has been racing his way up through the field. He is now 6th. Rajah Caruth has dropped to 7th. Matt Crafton is 8th. 9th is Ty Majeski. Kyle Busch is the top 10.
Let's take a look at the rest of the rundown. 11th is going to be Jake Garcia, Corey Heim 12th, 13th Stuart Friesen, William Sawalich in 14th, 15th Michael McDowell, Caden Honeycutt 16th, Luke Fenhouse is 17th, Ben Rhodes 18th, Frankie Muniz is 19th, and Gio Ruggiero is 20th.
Running 21st is Tanner Gray. Bailey Curry is 22nd. Chandler Smith runs 23rd. 24th is Andres Perez. Matt Mills runs 25th. Bird runs 26th right now. Dawson Sutton runs 27th. Josh Rayum is 28th. Spencer Boyd 29th. 30th is Tony Breidinger. And the final two, we've got Justin Carroll and Keith McGee as we go down to pit road with Wendy Venturini.
About 3 laps ago, Brad, we saw Connor Mozak and Jack Wood start to pull away in first and second using that bottom lane, but it wasn't too shortly after that Jack Wood came over the radio and said he really can't close up for now. He can't get that gap to get around Connor Mozak, and they told him just be patient, stay calm. In the meantime, Tyler Ankrum was able to gain some ground and get that next load of trucks to get right behind Jack Wood as Jack Wood continues to work Connor Mozak.
Lane Riggs now applying the pressure to Grant Enfinger. This is a battle for 5th place as they work off the banking in turn number 2 and thunder down the back straightaway.
Riggs will be about 3 truck lengths behind right now. Enfinger as they work into the corner in turns number 3 and 4. Mozak out in front. Interesting, guys. We're going to catch lap traffic in about another 2 laps, and that is really going to put some pressure on the leaders.
Yeah, we have a 4-car draft of that lap traffic. Justin Carroll is at the back of that, and Connor Mozak now, Doug Turnbull, about turn behind.
He is. The lap cars are at turn 2 led by Spencer Boyd. Connor Mozak entering turn 2 now as Jack Wood peeks a headlight to his inside and then gets back in line on the back straightaway.
Once again, Lane Riggs with a really fast truck this afternoon. Watching him move up now as that field, the train, I should say, makes their way midway through 3 and 4. Should catch this lead or this slower group as we exit the backstretch here, Doug.
Stage number 1 is coming to a rapid close, just 8 to go. Leaders coming up on that slower pack now.
And they're about a half a turn behind them there. The leader is Connor Mozak. The first lap truck is going to be Justin Carroll, who a few laps ago was trying to drag race with these guys, but then he got single file with them as the leader's catching them now.
With any luck, their spotters are telling this slower group to get down on the bottom and give these guys, the freight train, room to work up top. Mozak now, he'll go right out next to the fence, pull the line behind him to move around these slower trucks.
That lead draft is catching the slower trucks right on the start-finish line. The slow trucks on the bottom, the leaders on top.
And one of those slow trucks is the Tricon Garage machine of Tony Breidinger has just not been up to speed today. Had to start in the back as Connor Mozak's finished lapping these trucks, and it seems like all of the lead lap cars staying in line. As the first one out of line, Kyle Busch looks to the inside of Matt Crafton.
Oh, some pretty tense moments there trying to work their way down the backstretch. They're making their way around Breidinger and the rest of those slower trucks. Here comes the train led by Mozak on 4.
We've been clean and green in stage 1. 24 laps down, 6 to go on the stage. Mozak will lead the field back to 1.
Let's see if Jack Wood or his teammates Tyler Ankrum behind them there can look to the inside. They do not. It's still Connor Mozak leading now. Jack Wood looks inside, but Mozak cuts him off there. Wood still looks faster.
Showed him the nose. That is Jack Wood to Connor Mozak. Mozak moved up a little bit and said, no, not that quite that fast. Here on the bottom, though, we see more trucks trying to move themselves up to the front. Right now watching Grant Enfinger trying to hold off Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch, a power move to the inside. He gets around teammate Rajah Caruth. Rajah now trying to take that spot back.
And Matt Crafton to the outside of Kyle Busch. Busch just can't do it alone there as the up-high freight train's going to leave him down low. Rajah Caruth peeks out of line to look under Lane Riggs and gets back in line for 7th.
Oh, Kyle Busch going to lose a lot of spots now. He'll finally fall back in line behind Ty Majeski, or at least he'll go door to door with him now. Here comes Enfinger on the bottom of the racetrack, though. He's trying to move up on the bottom line.
Will he have a spot to move back up? He's got some drafting help. Lane Riggs now will try to push him up to the leaders as they go back to 1.
Enfinger in the 9 truck looking down low. Lane Riggs in the 34 going to give him a push. Now they're 2 wide with the 2nd and 3rd place trucks of Ankrum and Wood as Connor Mozak's having to manage 2 lines again in the lead.
Tyler Ankrum thinking to himself, well, that wasn't exactly what I thought was going to happen here. Bottom of the racetrack. Once again, Jack Wood in the 2nd spot. Enfinger not giving up on the bottom, doing everything he can. Now door to door for 2nd place as he tries to chase down Mozak.
3 laps to go now. The battle is for 2nd. Grant Enfinger on the inside of Jack Wood as Connor Mozak leads him into 1.
It's the 9 under the 91 for 2nd place. Enfinger to the inside of Wood. Can somebody say side draft? Jack Wood pulls up to prevent the side draft, but Enfinger's pulling the inside train as Mozak cuts off Enfinger.
Connor Mozak doing a really great job of controlling both lanes right now into turn 3. Mozak looks upstairs for a moment. Enfinger goes right to his bumper now, and he'll be locked into that bumper off of turn 4.
Mozak threw a big block, so Enfinger now right behind him in the 2nd spot. Bottom line, though, is got some momentum as they work to 1.
The McAnally-Hilgeman circus there has been broken up. Grant Enfinger's in 2nd place. 1st place is Connor Mozak as Enfinger's all over his tailgate, and now to the inside is Jack Wood.
Remember Stuart Friesen having some problems earlier? Not so much now. He moves back into that top 6 or 7 trucks, trying to work his way to the front. Connor Mozak, though, doing a great job now as they race all 4.
And how about Corey Heim working his way up toward the front as well? Here comes Connor Mozak, Jack Wood. We've got Lane Riggs now running in 3rd as they head to 1 with 1 to go in stage 1.
3 wide for the lead. Lane Riggs down low. Connor Mozak trapped in the middle. Up high is Jack Wood. This is 3 wide still. They haven't sorted it out. Coming off of turn 2 is a big-time battle up front.
3 abreast. That's the way they race. Jack Wood give him the advantage now as he gets a shove from Grant Enfinger. Mark Wood out to the front now. He leads the pack. There's still 3 wide behind him. Connor Mozak trying to get back in line, all 4.
Coming down to the end of stage number 1, Jack Wood will win it. They're 3 wide, 3 rows deep behind him, but Jack Wood gets his first stage win in 2024.
Lane Riggs finishes stage number 1 in 2nd. Then it's Grant Enfinger, Connor Mozak, Kyle Busch rounding out the top 5. Corey Heim up to 6th. Stuart Friesen in 7th. Tyler Ankrum finishes stage 1 in 8th. Daniel Hemrick 9th. And Rajah Caruth rounds out the top 10.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is Kyle Larson.
I'm David Grau.
Hi, I'm Donnie Shaw.
This is Brian Brown.
This is Danny
Dietrich. Wing Nation is your go-to destination for all the latest sprint car news and interviews from the stars of sprint car racing from around the country. This is Steve Post. Aaron Evernham, Ashley Strumy, and I will have all the latest news, insights, and conversations on Wing Nation's YouTube or Facebook pages, or listen and download and subscribe to Wing Nation on any podcast platform.
Wing Nation. Wing Nation. Wing Nation. Wing Nation. Wing Nation. All sprint cars, all the time.
All right, we have tires loaded up on the wall. The Goodyear tires getting ready to get bolted onto these NASCAR Craftsman trucks. And right now, we'll see if they're going to open pit road for the first round of pit stops after stage number 1. So right now, the trucks are lined up behind the Ford Mustang Dark Horse pace car, and they're heading into turn number 3. We'll come back, and we'll have stage 1 pit stops from Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
NASCAR fans, the time is now to turn your love of racing into free tickets, merchandise, VIP experiences, and much, much more. Rack up fan rewards points by watching races at home, playing fantasy, completing challenges, and visiting tracks. Then redeem your points for epic prizes. You are in the driver's seat. What are you waiting for? Sign up for the free NASCAR Fan Rewards loyalty program today at NASCAR.com/fan rewards.
This is Kyle Larson.
I'm David Grau.
Hi, I'm Donnie Shaw.
This is Brian Brown.
This is Danny
Dietrich. Wing Nation is your go-to destination for all the latest sprint car news and interviews from the stars of sprint car racing from around the country. This is Steve Post. Aaron Evernham, Ashley Strummy, and I will have all the latest news, insights, and conversations on Wing Nation's YouTube or Facebook pages, or listen and download and subscribe to Wing Nation on any podcast platform.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. All sprint cars, all the time.
Things went from bad to worse for Lane Riggs as he came across that line. His car, as he power cycled, now officially has no power. Lane Riggs first got a penalty. Had to go below the line, got a penalty for that, power cycled. Now the truck will not start. The dash completely dark on the truck for Lane Riggs. He tried to power cycle several times, no dash power, nothing is happening. He's now getting a push to the garage where the team will meet him in the Truck Series garage.
Pit road is still closed here at the end of stage number 1. We went clean and green. That was a miracle at the end. They went 3 wide, and Lane Riggs, again, made a very bold move to make it 3 wide, driving to the inside, going into 1, but he dipped below the white, red, and white line that signifies the bottom of the racetrack, went into the penalty area. Then he slid up in turn 1, made room, kind of shoehorned his way in there, but dipped below that line, and that's why he was posted.
Yeah, out of bounds, a very real thing when it comes to speedway racing, and Atlanta Motor Speedway fits into those rules. That moves Michael McDowell up into the top 10 at the end of stage number 1, and they didn't open pit road because they were still pushing the truck of Lane Riggs around onto pit road, and he's headed down to the garage. Wendy Venturini, do you have more?
Yes, Lane Riggs came slowly passing by his pit stall. There was no pit sign out. Lane Riggs went right on by his stall and now has to get a tow truck to push him back around the racetrack all the way and come back down pit road again. There was no pit sign out. Lane Riggs did not know where to go.
Ouch. I mean, from bad to worse to worst.
And the field passed him. I mean, this puts him a lap down now, which is going to be a tough thing. And to think about that, Mark, if you're Lane Riggs, you're able to race your way all the way up to the second spot, albeit below the yellow line. He started 16th in this race, obviously has a fast truck with Front Row Motorsports. Now he's not only going to have to make up time, he's going to have to make up at least a lap as the field dips onto pit road in turn number 3, getting ready to wrap their way around.
So he goes from thinking, I've got a truck to win, to a truck that won't start. And it was just flick of a finger, snap of a finger, and it went bad for Lane Riggs.
Yeah, and the tow truck is pushing him very slowly because they can't push him onto pit road while the other trucks are getting their service on pit road. So, again, we talk about going from bad to worse. He's probably going to go another lap down here in this cycle. But Wendy Venturini, these trucks are now coming on to the 45-mile-per-hour portion of pit lane, and you are going to be the first one to see them.
Yes, that first one is our Stage 1 winner of Jack Wood. Now, he got into the right side wall, the right front, when he went around Conor Mozak, and they said, don't worry, bud, we already have pictures. The car looks good on the right-hand side. They felt like that car lost a little bit of grip for Jack Wood, but it is just fuel only. Andrew Curlin.
Yeah, we have the 81 of Conor Mozak is in. It was an exciting end of the stage. He's fuel only, saying he could be a little freer. Kyle Busch is having some radio issues. He's fuel only. Grant Enfinger, who wanted track position and got it at the end of that stage, lacking a little bit of grip, splash of fuel, and he's off.
All right, thank you very much. Mark, the race off pit road, what's it look like?
Grant Enfinger will win it. Kyle Busch second off the pit lane. Conor Mozak and Tyler Ankrum. Jack Wood from first to fifth.
We'll come back with stage number 2 and a special guest joining us in the booth here in the Freight 208.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered. NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Kyle Rickey. Join Chris Wilner and I each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We also talk to rising stars from your favorite short track. That's NASCAR Coast to Coast. Watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or your favorite podcast platform.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text stop to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Getting ready to start stage number 2 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Drivers, start your engines!
Your home for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Green flag goes in the air, and we are underway.
On the NASCAR Racing Network.
2 by 2 by 2. They're about 10 rows deep of double-wide racing. Taylor Gray to the bottom. Nick Sanchez outside, and they're crashing mid-pack.
It's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on the NASCAR Racing Network.
You're not going to want to miss tonight's county fair. I'm going to be...
We are your window to your community.
Did you see the last 5 minutes of that football game last night?
Oh, man, I saw the whole thing.
And a lifeline to keep you safe when danger is near.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can. This is one of the biggest storms.
We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text stop to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Freight 208. Corey Heim and Ty Majeski did not pit during the Stage 1 cycle. They are now leading the race. But up here in the booth, Mark Garrow and I have the pleasure of being joined by a 3-time Pro Bowler, a former Atlanta Falcons player, a number 12 draft pick, and honestly a great guy all the way around with everything that you've done, work done with charities and so much more.
No, I appreciate that. It's good to be up here with you guys. And, I just love... Atlanta, growing up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and coming here, I love the environment, and I'm happy to be here today with you guys. I mean, this is pretty cool, just watching cars go in circles, but, it's all strategy, so I appreciate it.
So what do you think of the noise and the atmosphere that you have at a NASCAR race?
Well, you have to be prepared for it, for the noise, definitely. I complain all the time when I hear a car in the community riding around and you hear the engine, you can hear it down the street, around the corner. It's like, why do they want to be heard? Here, it's a lot different because these guys are being very strategic. They have a team. This is just a part of the whole racing network. So it's pretty good, really cool to see this up close.
Work done. You're very popular here in Atlanta, a part owner of the Falcons as well, but also a very charitable man. And really that started in earnest about the time your professional football career started as well, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was challenged my rookie year by Coach Tony Dungy when I was drafted in Tampa about not just football, but you also want to give back to the community. And I thought about my mom, who was a Baton Rouge City police officer that was shot and killed in the line of duty, the dream that she wanted for us as kids. I'm the oldest of 6. And pretty much over the last 27, this November will be 28 years that we've had the Homes for the Holidays program. That's where we give $5,000 down payment assistance and fully furnished homes for families. And we're in 16 states, 30 cities, and we're up to 236 single-parent families that we've helped as well. So we've been able to really impact lives, change lives. And most people think we just help single mothers, but we also help single fathers as well. So we want to be able to help create that stability long-term for kids.
Well, stick with us and watch some green flag racing. Corey Heim, Ty Majeski take the green flag. Stage number 2 is underway. Nathan Bird and Daniel Henrik, by the way, have been busted for speeding during the pit stop. Leaders in turn number 1.
And they've dropped to the back as Corey Heim's got a big push with Ty Majeski trying to get ahead of the inside line that's led by Kyle Busch. And stage 1 dominator Connor Mozak is now they try to get back in line.
Corey Heim has that lead being shoved by Majeski, a couple trucks separation. Then you got Kyle Busch working the bottom of the racetrack. All of those guys slide up to the very top as we race all 4.
Corey Heim leading the field right now, looking for some big things here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Right on his bumper, though, you've got Ty Majeski, Kyle Busch in the mix as well.
Quite the accordion effect. They fanned out and then got right back together on the front straightaway. Now they're fanning out again as Grant Enfinger for the 4th spot's going to go all the way next to the wall and try to pull around Connor Mozak. a feeding fest here on the backstretch.
Connor Mozak makes his way in behind Grant Enfinger now. Meanwhile, up front, Kyle Busch is going to dispose of Corey Heim, or can he get it done? He wants to lead all four, not going to be able to do it this time.
Ty Majeski passes Corey Heim. Now Kyle Busch side by side with Heim, with Busch getting some help from the draft of Connor Mozak.
All the teams broke it up after an MHR domination in stage 1. Up high, it's the Thor Sport machine of Ty Majeski and Spire Motorsports Kyle Busch down low with Connor Mozak pushing him.
Side by side, 2 by 2. That's the way they race the first 5 rows now. Once again, Kyle Busch getting a good shot. Matt Crafton up against the wall. He gets up against the wall, holds on to his truck. Everybody's going to come riding by, and we're not going to see the caution flag as the field's back to turn number 1.
Matt Crafton now making his way to pit road as Kyle Busch leads him on the bottom.
And he's got a push for Connor Mozak. Behind them, Tyler Ankrum and several more. Up top, it's Ty Majeski, Corey Heim, Grant Enfinger, and Jack Wood, who is the stage 1 winner.
2 by 2 by 2. Truck racing at Atlanta. Watching the leader now. Kyle Busch got a big shove from Connor Mozak. Mozak, bottom of the racetrack. Up top, the number 11 of Corey Heim. He rides in that 4th spot.
A 7-time truck winner at Atlanta, Kyle Busch, is back out front. Connor Mozak, Tyler Ankrum now trying to draft up to him as we go down to pit reporter Andrew Curlin.
Yeah, guys, we saw that problem with Matt Crafton. He's on pit road. He told the team Blue a right front, so he's on pit road. They're servicing that car right now, but problems for Truck Series champion Matt Crafton.
Pat, battle for the lead in front of you.
Mozak goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch to the outside. Tyler Ankrum on the bottom as well as they come off 4. It'll be Kyle Busch trying to retake the lead.
Mozak tried to move up in front of him. Kyle Busch did not give him room. He's getting a big push now from Ty Majeski.
The runs keep coming and going for these cars. They're springboarding through the field. So Mozak had a great run. Then he shrinks back to his teammate Ankrum. Kyle Busch has moved from the bottom lane to the top and has picked up Ty Majeski in the lead there.
So Kyle Busch now in the number 7 has control of the 2 lanes. Bottom lane, Mozak. Up on the top side, Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum in the bottom lane now. 2 by 2 again, all 4.
Kyle Busch on the high side of this, and it looks like that seems to be the dominant lane right now, getting a big push from Ty Majeski as they head to 1.
And you see these cars backing up to each other. That's just what Connor Mozak did as they come up with the lap machine of Matt Crafton. Mozak got on the brakes on the front straight, picked up his teammate Ankrum, and then launched ahead. But it's still Kyle Busch in the lead on the backstretch.
Bottom lane, Connor Mozak looking for a big shove from Tyler Ankrum to move him back up in position. He goes side to side with Corey Heim. Here comes Kyle Busch, top side of the racetrack. He's got control of the field.
Inside line, trying to build up some momentum. Again, Mozak is leading that. Then it's Ankrum. Bailey Curry now has moved in behind Ankrum with Raja Caruth.
Curry is the 44 truck, 3rd in line on the bottom with Raja Caruth behind. Up top, the top 5 are Kyle Busch, Ty Majeski, Corey Heim, Grant Enfinger, and Jack Wood. This field is staying too wide, Pat Patterson.
Pretty amazing that the bottom lane is holding serve against the top lane, which is dominantly the fastest one here. Kyle Busch midway through 3 and 4 has a truck length lead on both the high and low lane.
Kyle Busch leading on the outside. Warwick Dunn is joining us here in the booth at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Atlanta Falcons player, Tampa Bay Buccaneers player. And I'll tell you what, we're watching these trucks here at almost 200 miles per hour, literally bumper to bumper in a traffic jam right now, Warwick.
I mean, this is crazy just to see it up close like this, and how you look like one car is pushing another car and they're still able to maintain control and balance, and everything is strategic, obviously, with this. But it's great to see how they're pushing each other. They're actually pushing and challenging each other, and I'm surprised Kyle Busch is still leading the way that I see things going.
Now they're trying like a running back to find that little bit of hole between the tackle and guard, right? You don't always have a lot of room, but you got to figure your way through there, right?
You do, and that's also, you got to be strategic and patient to find the right. I used to make sure you stretch, set my guys up to be successful, then hit the hole. And they're similar strategy what they're doing, because once car is pushing another car, but they also looking for that little crease that they can go and try to get around or so forth. So it's like I said, it's real strategic, and it's good to see that they're taking things that I did on the football field and actually applying it on the track, racetrack.
Well, Warwick, we want to thank you for coming up here, number one. Number two, and probably most importantly, everything that you do for the community, your charitable efforts we know have helped so many people, and it's just a wonderful thing.
Oh, no, I thank you guys for having me up to, I hope I didn't slow y'all down a little bit, but
absolutely
I am thankful for the commitment the community has and for me and the things they've done, how they supported us, and how we just want to continue to grow and help families and communities across the country. So I have a big plan, a strategic plan of growing, impacting families in different communities. So we're going to see how that goes moving forward in 2025.
All right, thank you very much. Work done. Joining us here in the booth at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We have 18 of 30 laps in stage number 2 complete, now 19 of 30. Kyle Busch leads Ty Majeski, Corey Heim, Connor Mozak, and Tyler Ankrum.
We are under the green flag. Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize.
So let's get this party started.
For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Field running much tighter in stage number 2 as we have 9 laps to go in this stage. Kyle Busch continues to lead the field. Today's race brought to you in part by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco fuels peak performance. From Atlanta Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Do you have an unused car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
The year was 1993. The NASCAR Cup Series season kicked off with the Dale and Dale Show at the Daytona 500.
Dale Jarrett's got the lead. He goes to the inside. Earnhardt's not going to get him. Dale Jarrett is going to win the Daytona 500 by STP. Earnhardt second.
The 1993 NASCAR Cup Series season. All the highs and lows. Relive them all on MRN's exclusive podcast, The 1993 Season. Available on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Mark Arrow with Brad Gilley, Doug Turnbull, Pat Patterson in the turns, along with our pit reporters Andrew Curlin, Wendy Venturini, Kyle Busch out front, trying to win stage number 2, currently over Ty Majeski.
Corey Heim now running in 3rd, started 19th in this race today. Then it's Jack Wood. He is 4th. Michael McDowell is 5th. Grant Enfinger running in 6th. Caden Honeycutt 7th. Stuart Friesen up to 8th. Connor Mozak, who won stage number 1, is 9th. Rajah Caruth in 10th.
Then Tyler Ankrum 11th, Bailey Curry is 12th, 13th Chandler Smith, Daniel Hemrick 14th, Tanner Gray 15th, 16th is Ben Rhodes, Gio Ruggiero is 17th, 18th Matt Mills, Jake Garcia 19th, Luke Fenhouse in 20th.
Andres Perez running 21st, Dawson Sutton is 22nd, William Sawalich running 23rd, then it's Frankie Muniz running 24th, Nathan Bird 25th, Josh Rayum 26th, 27th is Spencer Boyd, Josh Carroll is running 28th, Tony Breidinger 29th, 30th is Lane Riggs, Matt Crafton minus 4 laps down after popping a tire getting the outside retaining wall. He's 31st, and Keith McGee now out of the race, a mechanical failure. He will finish 32nd. That leaderboard rundown brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. This tax season is free phone season with Straight Talk. Get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com.
On the bottom of the racetrack now, Rajah Caruth trying to dip underneath Connor Mozak. That is a battle for ninth place.
And what we've seen in the last 10 laps is the bottom line start to come apart. Rajah Caruth goes back to the top. Now leading the low line is local driver Chandler Smith, who's full of Daniel Hemrick, who's come from the back.
Watching Rajah Caruth now, he's about 6 to 7 truck lengths behind Connor Mozak up front. Top 7 guys there going nose to tail. Kyle Busch controlling things off of turn 4.
2 laps to go. Ty Majeski in it for the points. He is running right behind Kyle Busch. Then it's Corey Heim and Jack Wood, who now dives to the inside in 1.
And Corey Heim's off the pace. It looks like the machine is wounded there as the trucks are all going past him. Up front, it's Kyle Busch bringing Ty Majeski. 3rd place, Michael McDowell. 4th place, Jack Wood.
Looks like Heim has got a tire down on the left rear of that truck. He will try to just stay out next to the fence and let everybody get around him. Meanwhile, up front, Kyle Busch in control. Top 5 cars, trucks, nose to tail.
1 lap left in stage number 2 of the Freight 208. Kyle Busch, Ty Majeski, along with now Michael McDowell, lead the train to turn number 1.
Big run for Grant Enfinger of the front stretch. He's going to pick up Connor Mozak's truck. Looking to the inside. Jack Wood almost takes a 3 wide there as Kyle Busch is loving all the action, staying behind him as they fight for spots.
Kyle Busch out by 1 truck length now. Here comes Majeski down to the bottom of the racetrack. It's Michael McDowell there running in that 3rd spot. Jack Wood is there. 3 wide off of 4. Here they come to the flag.
Out of fuel, Corey Heim limps his truck to pit road. The green and white checker is out. Kyle Busch gets stage number 2 over Ty Majeski. Grant Enfinger will finish 3rd, followed by Michael McDowell. Caden Honeycutt, the top 5. 6 was Jack Wood. Connor Mozak, 7th. Stuart Friesen, 8th. Chandler Smith up to 9th. And Daniel Hemrick in 10th.
The NASCAR Powerball playoff is back. Start your entries for the chance to win $1 million at NASCAR Championship Weekend. Powerball, the official lottery game of NASCAR.
You're not going to want to miss tonight's county fair. I'm going to be...
We are your window to your community.
Did you see the last 5 minutes of that football game last night?
Oh, man, I saw the whole thing.
And a lifeline to keep you safe when danger is near.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can. This is one of the biggest storms.
We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
On Thursdays, NASCAR Live goes wide open with some of the biggest names in the sport.
The goal is the same, so the mindset's the same. All right, the goal is to win the championship.
And some familiar voices that you might not have heard from in a while.
You know, I thought about going to one of these teams because I'd really like to win the 500.
I never planned any of this to start with, right from the very beginning.
No matter what driver or what era is your favorite, NASCAR Live Wide Open has every corner of the fan base covered. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts.
Stage number 2 complete here in the Freight 208. In stage number 1, Corey Heim and Ty Majeski stayed out. Let's go down to pit road and check in with Andrew Curlin on what is plaguing them right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of fuel issues going on. Reminder that these two guys both stayed out at the stage 1 caution. The 98 of Ty Majeski's on pit road now. They did 4 tires. He's still sitting there on pit road. The number 11 of Corey Heim, he rolled in quiet as a mouse, completely out of fuel, had to get a push. So some problems for these two front runners here in this race.
Strategy backfired for Corey Heim. It worked for Ty Majeski at the end of stage number 2 where he was second, but now sitting quietly on pit road will restart with a penalty. From Atlanta Motor Speedway, this is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
On Thursdays, NASCAR Live goes wide open with some of the biggest names in the sport.
The goal is the same, so the mindset's the same. All right, the goal is to win the championship.
And some familiar voices that you might not have heard from in a while.
You know, I thought about going to one of these teams because I'd really like to win the 500.
I never planned any of this to start with, right from the very beginning.
No matter what driver or what era is your favorite, NASCAR Live Wide Open has every corner of the fan base covered. Subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts.
Looking for weekly motorsports podcasts to stay up to date on what's happening on and off the track? The Motor Racing Network is the place. Hear from NASCAR crew chiefs on MRN Crew Call. All the happenings from regional touring series and local tracks on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Sprint Car Talk on Winged Nation. NASCAR history on MRN Classic Races. And hear from the drivers on NASCAR Live. MRN podcasts available on MRN.com, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform.
Pit road is open. We're about to see pit stops here at the end of stage number 2. Again, stage 1 today in the Freight 208, won by Jack Wood. Kyle Busch wins stage number 2. Wendy Venturini, they're coming at you.
Jack Wood, who took that stage 1 victory, as you just mentioned, Mark, will come down pit road to finally take those tires in the 5th position. He was plowing real tight, especially in turns 3 and 4. They told him it's because you simply used up the tires, but they love the aggression that Jack Wood has had here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is the time to get those 4 fresh tires for Jack Wood. Moving up pit road, Connor Mozak in the 6th position. They were giving him step-by-step instructions to stay up in that lead pack, to get close to Kyle Busch, trying not to come off of the 18 too much, but he felt like he needed a little bit more in his truck. He was dragging the brake as much as he could to get around this speedway, but these 4 fresh tires will be beneficial for Connor Mozak. Andrew Curlin.
Grant Enfinger wanted a water bottle to tear off. He's taking 4 tires. Kyle Busch also in with 4 tires and fuel, and they're away.
So as they come off the pit lane, let's see who won that battle. We're waiting for it to be posted. Rajah Caruth up 11 spots. He is first off a pit lane, followed by Daniel Hemrick, and then Andres Perez, then Grant Enfinger, and Michael McDowell.
Rajah Caruth, a lightning-fast pit stop from that Spire Motorsports team. Great for them to put him out to the lead. Corey Heim still sits on pit road again. He and Ty Majeski did not pit at the end of stage 1. Corey Heim did not make it to the end of stage number 2. Now he sits on pit road. His truck will not refire. Ty Majeski extended time on pit road. He's down a lap.
Part of the problem, we went clean and green 2 straight stages. I mean, it went fast. They got no yellow flag caution laps to kind of help them with that. And again, it bit Corey Heim, and it has also hurt Ty Majeski as well.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. Let's go back down to pit road. Andrew Curlin, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we were talking about Kyle Busch's radio issues in stage 1. Channel 1 was just not working for him, so he just talked to the team. They switched to channel 2, and that seems to be working for the time being. So be careful for Kyle Busch. He's got clean radio waves for this final stage, and definitely a threat.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Appreciate that. Corey Heim is back on the track. He is actually running 31st out of 32 trucks, and right now is being shown 4 laps down. I think when he cycles back around here, Mark, he's going to be 3 laps down. That was a big one for him, running out of fuel. For Ty Majeski, he's actually still being shown, it would appear, on the lead lap as we look at our scoring right now, but I think he is actually a lap down. We'll have to wait for this to
The leaders definitely passed him while they were trying to refire the engine for him.
Well, we want to thank Freight 208 for sponsoring the race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, longtime supporters of racing, and the president of Freight Racing, Matt Erickson, is now joining us up here in the booth. Matt, how you doing today?
Great, guys. How are you?
We're doing great, and it looks like we've got a great crowd, great race for the Freight 208.
Yeah, we're excited. If you look down at Victory Lane, you'll see we have our Easy Go golf cart. This will be our second year our third year, to award one of those to the lucky winner. And last year it was Kyle Busch. We're hoping this year we get another first-time winner. Corey Heim, Christian Eckes have all won this race. And we've got a little bit of love for Jake Garcia, one of our Freight Racing late model drivers. He's out there. Looks like he's having a pretty good race. I haven't seen how they came out of the pits, but hoping he can keep in some clean air and meet us down in Victory Lane afterwards.
That is an awesome trophy, by the way, and a useful one as well. That's a really cool thing that you're doing. Well, you mentioned your late model program as well. Freight has very deep roots in racing.
Absolutely. Obviously you mentioned earlier we are involved in track partnerships. We love to bring families to the racetrack. But a few years ago we decided we wanted to be not just part of racing, but we wanted to be in the sport. And we partnered with Ricky Turner and Will Coates and Brian Turner, late model legends in the sport, brought Chase up through his career. And we got Chase in the car racing with us as well. So it's really exciting. The best part about it, though, is the driver development piece. We have Seth Christensen, Gage Gilby, a new driver we just signed out of Nova Scotia, Canada. He makes his first start in the Alabama 200 here just in another week. And Luke Yarbrough, actually another driver we just recently signed. So having those mature drivers, Chase, obviously championship pedigree, and Jake Garcia, who's made his ranks here, we're excited to have all those guys running together and learning the sport at that level.
The Chase he keeps throwing in there is Chase Elliott, right?
That's correct, Chase Elliott. Yes, and obviously Chase and Ricky, a lot of history together, and it's awesome to bring those two guys back together, see them in the shop and at the track doing what they do best.
Matt, if you would tell us a little bit more about Freight.
Yeah, so freight racing. Well, the reality is this started out as Freight Auctions. Freight Auctions was a reverse logistics and consigning organization that took overstocked and undersold merchandise and entered it into the secondary market. And a few years ago, we decided we wanted to go racing. So Freight Auctions still exists, but freight racing is really a branch of our passion for motorsports. And we love to be here, love to support the big tracks, but we love the grassroots racing.
So we've got, you said the Alabama 200. What are some of the other big races your teams are?
Yeah, that's a great question. We'll obviously be at the Derby and at the Snowflake in December. We're going to run probably anywhere between 18 and 25 races between all of our drivers. Look for Chase to catch on some of those weeknight races, maybe Hickory again this year, North Wilkesboro. And then again, we have, like I said, those new drivers that will be running some of those Alan Turner Pro Late model races to get themselves ready for the Derby at the end of the season.
Well, Matt, thank you very much for your support here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the great deep roots in racing. And we look forward to seeing who you're going to give that golf cart away to in Victory Lane coming up here in 69 laps.
Thank you, guys. Have a great race.
Thank you. Matt Erickson, the president of Freight Racing. Mark, you want to line them up?
We'll do that, but first we want to tell you that Ty Majeski is being scored one lap down, and he has to go to the back of the pack because he pitted too soon. They had to get the fuel. Chandler Smith had a safety violation. That will put him in the back. Rajah Caruth will lead him to the green flag in the third and final stage of the Freight 208. Daniel Hemrick second, third, Andreas Perez. Grant Enfinger fourth, fifth, Michael McDowell. Caden Honeycutt sixth, seventh, Connor Mozak. Kyle Busch eighth. Chandler Smith is being scored ninth, but again has to go to the back. Giro Ruggiero will get that ninth spot, and 10th will be Jack Wood.
Stage 1 winner, Jack Wood actually being shown in 11th now. Matt Bills is 12th. 13th is Bailey Curry. Tyler Ankrum is running 14th. Dawson Sutton is 15th. Ben Rhodes is running in 16th. Jake Garcia 17th. 18th, Stuart Friesen. 19th, William Sawalich, and Luke Fenhouse is running 20th.
In the 21st position, you got Frankie Muniz, then Josh Rayum, 22nd, 23rd, Spencer Boyd, Tanner Gray, 24th, Nathan Bird, 25th, Ty Majeski, -1 in 26th, then Tony Breidinger, then you have Carroll, Lane Riggs, Matt Kraft, and Corey Heim, and then McGee, that's Keith McGee, in the 32nd spot. He is the only truck out currently.
Rajah Caruth takes him into the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. He is on the outside of Daniel Hemrick. They will go side by side underneath the green flag as we are back to racing in Stage 3.
68 laps to go here. More than half of this race left in this field. The leaders are tucked up behind each other. Spire teammates Perez de Lara and the leader Caruth is down low as Daniel Hemrick getting a big push for Grant Enfinger.
Right now, Rajah Caruth is going to nose out in front of Hemrick. They'll stay pretty much side by side into turn 3. Bottom of the racetrack is Hemrick. Hemrick. Then the outside is Caruth as they come off 4.
Here is Tyler Ankrum. He is now trapped in the middle to his inside. Grant Enfinger outside Rajah Caruth. They've left him hung out to dry.
What a gaggle as Daniel Hemrick drops out of the top 10 there, hung 3 wide in the middle as up front. Grant Enfinger is getting a nose in front of the leader Rajah Caruth. Behind Enfinger is Connor Mozak as more trucks start to tuck up under him.
Behind that group, it is a wild, snarling pack, all trying to race their way up to the front. 3 wide, that back in the backstretch there. Back in the middle of turns 3 and 4 with Michael McDowell. Meanwhile, up front, Caruth and Enfinger.
Jack Wood is off the pace. It looks like he's headed to pit road, your Stage 1 winner. Meanwhile, Rajah Caruth on the outside of Enfinger for the lead.
With a big push from Perez de Lara, then they break apart, if you will, in turns 1 and 2. Down low, Grant Enfinger still a nose ahead with Connor Mozak and Hemrick pushing.
Hemrick trying to work to the bottom of the racetrack. He's in that bottom lane. Connor Mozak right in front of him. He shoves Mozak right up to Grant Enfinger. Can't make anything work. Once again, Caruth stays right there and holds serve with Daniel Hemrick.
As they work their way out of turn number 4, Enfinger to the inside. Mozak pushing hard on Rajah Caruth. Now Hemrick will shove Enfinger out of shape as they go to 1.
3 wide for the third position. Hemrick in the middle, up high Perez de Lara, down low Grant Enfinger, and who's pushing Hemrick now? Kyle Busch has entered the chat down the back straightaway.
Enfinger's going to slide back and really be a loser with that particular formation going into turn 2, off 2 and down the backstretch. Meanwhile, bottom of the racetrack, Daniel Daniel Hemrick trying to make up ground.
Rajah Caruth continues to lead the train as they come across the start-finish line. Then it's Connor Mozak on the outside. Andres Perez running in third.
Battle for the lead. Down low, Connor Mozak just zigs and zags right under Connor and make that Rajah Caruth. Daniel Hemrick pulls up behind Mozak as Caruth got loose off of turn 2 and gathers it up.
Now everybody moves out next to the wall. Kyle Busch down there waiting on Infinger to get to him to maybe get a shove here to move that number 7 truck up a little bit. Hemrick shows the nose to Mozak off of turn number 4 and controls off of 4.
As they work their way down across the stripe, we're going to have 63 laps to go in this race. Mozak showing the way with Caruth, Perez, and Hemrick battling for the number 2 spot.
They're passing the lap machine of Jack Wood, who's just exiting the pits right now. These trucks with Connor Mozak leading cannot stay hooked together. They keep having to engage and disengage, and that breaks up those runs, Pat.
3 wide, bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch now moves all the way up to the 2nd spot, has a really good run. Mozak cuts him off, but move Kyle Busch. Now he'll dart to the inside. He'll try to take the lead.
Kyle Busch, big crossover move. He will have the lead at the start-finish line. He's going to pull his Spire Motorsports teammate Rajah Caruth with him on the bottom.
They both did the zig and the zag, up high and down low. Now it's Kyle Busch leading the bottom line with Rajah Caruth behind him, and up top, that line's being pulled by Connor Mozak and Daniel Hemrick. These trucks are really handling well, Pat.
Kyle Busch, boy, you let him see the door open just a little bit, and he will jump on it. He did it right then. Now he controls the lead. Rajah Caruth, the bottom side. Connor Mozak, now Caruth, sideways, the field. Going to be hung up here behind Rajah Caruth. Everybody spreads to try to get away from him. Rajah Caruth gets tagged again right there at the start-finish line. Caution on the racetrack.
William Sawalich, the one who tagged Rajah Caruth, a little bit of damage to his front end. Rajah Caruth stopped just past the start-finish line. Heavy left front damage, also right rear damage as well, as caution is out here in the Freight 208.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
Under caution after a spin of Rajah Caruth. He spun on his own in front of the pack who is racing behind him. Also getting damage in that, Daniel Hemrick, left front. He is on pit road. Andres Perez de Lara is on pit road with a little bit of damage as well. We'll come back and give you a rundown from Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
NASCAR's only street race returns to the streets of Chicago July 5th and 6th. Lock in your ticket to summer thrills now. Visit NASCARChicago.com for more.
The dry spell is over for Alex Bowman. 90-degree right-hand turn remains. He makes it perfectly out onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is in the air, and Alex Bowman has won in the streets of Chicago.
Under caution here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, 76 laps into it. On pit road, extensive damage to the 19 truck of Daniel Hemrick. He got caught up in the incident just moments ago with Raja Karuth and Swalich out there on the racetrack. Now, Daniel Hemrick came to a stop. They took the Sawzall and they cut that left front fender. It was peeled all the way back around the wheel well on the left front tire and wheel well area of Daniel Hemrick. They had him go back out. He's going to come back around to continue to work on the damage of his race truck. Also, at that same exact time, Michael McDowell had a loose wheel, some kind of issue, an equalized tire. He wasn't sure. It was vibrating really bad right before that caution, through the turns especially. So they were getting ready to come down pit road. So this caution, it was an ideal time for Michael McDowell to take advantage and get that tire fixed for him. Also on pit road was Jack Wood just moments ago with a loose wheel, and they had to change those two right side tires. Andrew Curlin?
Yeah, Wendy, the tow truck actually just took that 71 truck of Raja Karuth behind the wall. Raja is already out of the car. A tough break for him. They took two tires at that stage break to try and get some track position, and there's a theme today. It seems that alternate strategies are not playing well for these guys. Tough break for Raja Karuth, who's out of this race.
You know, what a day it has been for Daniel Hemrick. He's running up front, gets a penalty, goes to the back, races back to the front, and then after Raja Karuth lost control of his truck, he gets a lot of damage, and it's been just an up-and-down yo-yo kind of day for Daniel Hemrick.
Mark, it's going to be interesting to hear from Raja Karuth as well, because right now as we look at it, there is a stripe of oil dry from midway down the back straightaway all through the lower lane, right at the apron, in turn number 3 and turn number 4 and coming across the start-finish line. We have to wonder, was Raja Karuth's spin just simply losing the handle on the truck? He was in a pack of them. Or was that influenced at all with anything that might have been put down on the racetrack? Now, he was the only one who spun. That's worth pointing out as well.
And it'll be interesting to see what he has to say. And again, as we watch the replay, he was side by side with Connor Mozak through turn 3, got to the exit of turn 4, and his truck snapped around. Mozak was the lucky guy. He was beside Raja. He had enough momentum to clear him, and right behind him was Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick got pinned against the wall when Karuth came up into him.
Yeah, and Raja was right in the lane where all the oil dry is right now. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what happened. Right now, pit road is closed. We have several trucks on pit road. William Sawalich's truck looks like it's getting a hook on it. He got a piece of that incident. Jack Wood, not a part of this wreck. He's on pit road. He had actually come down right after we went back to green in stage number 3. Had to come for 2 right side tires, but the crew is looking at the right side of that truck. As Wendy had reported, Daniel Hemrick getting extensive repairs to the left front. But with pit road closed and a lot of cleanup, these trucks are wheeling their way around. We have 58 to go. If they pit here, Mark, they can go to the checkered flag on the Sunoco fuel.
You got to believe that most people will take advantage of that at this particular point. Watching the replay again, man, there was a lot of guys that snuck to the inside of that wreck. Grant Enfinger, Ben Rhodes, Stuart Friesen, a lot of guys who will live to fight another day today because they got by the Raja Karuth spin. And then again, Hemrick and Sawalich got into it. They got the most damage as well as they are on pit road. And it looks like Hemrick's truck will be able to continue, albeit certainly damaged in the left front quite a bit, and that will certainly hurt his aerodynamics and the speed of the truck, but nonetheless, he'll be able to continue. Sawalich and Karuth, those cars will head back to the garage.
Mark, we talked during the pre-race about some of the...
We've got a red flag for track cleanup. Red flag.
A speedway-style race with 28 degrees of banking in the turns here on this 1.54-mile super speedway. Survival. This track has been averaging in the truck series 8 cautions per race, just over 8. We've only had 3 and only 1 for incident. Stage 1 was caution 1, stage 2 was caution 2, and now this incident with Raja Karuth. As we sit here now, 57 laps to go. Let's say we go back to green flag racing with 52 laps to go. You have to wonder how survival comes into play, and you already talked about how some of the trucks did a great job of avoiding that one by ducking to the bottom.
It looks like the aggression level certainly is up. They played nice, stage 1, stage 2, a lot of single file racing until the very end of the stages, and even then they played nice. Now it is in the mode of a race where the driver is not in the give and take mode anymore. I want to take, and that usually leads to more yellow flags, and certainly we saw a lot of 3-wide racing there just before that incident with Rajah Caruth.
So watching the racetrack right now, they just stopped the trucks right at the entrance of pit road, which is off turn number 3 here at Atlanta. There's another truck now putting more oil dry down, so we had the bottom lane right at the white line at the bottom of the banking of the racetrack. That already got covered with oil dry. The Elgin sweeper is picking that up. Now we have the middle lane, literally the middle of turns 3 and 4, getting the oil dry down. While we have so many safety trucks on this side of the racetrack, NASCAR has actually stopped the field right now, and it looks like we've got the red flag out. So right now this race is going to be stopped, and it just simply has to do with the large amount of cleanup that we have to do on the track.
And you have to wonder if somebody was rolling around here, didn't know they had some type of fluid leaking on the racetrack, because we see now 2 lanes where this has been put down. Doug Turnbull, what you got going on out there right now in turns 1 and 2?
At least the very first application entering turn 3 off the back straightaway of this stay dry was right as the yellow flag came out, which led me to a similar conclusion as you all. It was the lap right after that Rajah Caruth crash. Oh gosh, did that cause it? But now they're putting the second one on. I will say I haven't seen any trucks come by me. Of course, they're not putting the oil dry down in front of me, but I haven't seen any trucks come by me that seem to be leaking fluid or smoking or anything. It seemed to be kind of your regular garden variety, if you will, crash damage. So not sure if there was something that caused that wreck, or maybe one of these damaged trucks under repair that helped put it down. But nonetheless, that's going to elongate this stop session here.
Well, I can tell you this, the oil dry stops about where Rajah Caruth's truck has stopped. That might be a little bit of evidence right now. Again, we're going to get the real story coming down. Pat Patterson, I know you love the beach life a little bit, but I don't know that you expected Atlanta Motor Speedway to look like the coast.
No, and I live most of my life in a sand trap, to be honest with you, when it gets down to where I spend the most time in the sand. But yeah, we got a lot to clean up, and I'm glad they've got it stopped so these guys can do their job. And you just, guys, you can't thank the people that do these procedures at the racetrack, whether it's our friends at Safety Clean or whether it's the track staff. They work really, really hard to get this stuff cleaned up as fast as they possibly can, but you can only do so much so fast. So they're getting it done, and everybody can take a little break, and we'll get it back going there in a minute. It's been really good so far. You guys had fun. I've had a good time today.
Absolutely. And at one point there was nothing going on in turns 1 and 2, and Doug Turnbull, it looks like they're having to do some work out there as well.
Yeah, no wonder they threw the red flag, because just after I was talking about this elongated stop period, they came by and let me join the Pat Patterson beach life here, because they've just had a ribbon of the stay dry put down, and they put it mainly on the low lane in turns 1 and 2. What's interesting is in turn 1, there's a little bit of an arc. It's like they enter high and then kind of cut down low and go right around the red and white line. I see the dark spot where they put it too. That looked to me more like rubber being put on the track, but now it did before they covered it up, look darker than the rest. So now almost this whole track's going to have that beach feel, and we're going to see how that affects the racing here in a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much. Andrew Curlin, first of all, welcome to the broadcast here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Second of all, you're covering the half of pit road at pit exit. What's happening down there?
Yeah, it's pretty eventful under this red flag, and it's giving me time to go check in with some teams. If they were to pit now, everyone's saying it's going to be really tight on fuel. We saw that already bit a few people in stage 2. Corey Heim, Ty Majeski, who ran out of fuel and kind of killed their race. So this is going to be a pivotal stop right here. Can you make it on fuel if you pit now? Do you bank on cautions? A lot of question marks, and frankly, I'm glad I'm not a crew chief because I don't have to make those decisions. But it's going to be interesting to see.
So, Mark, we had 2 trucks stay out, and they went 60 laps with 1 caution in the middle. That was stage 1 break. That was Corey Heim and Ty Majeski. Corey Heim was not able to make it the full 60 laps of stage 1 and stage 2. Right now we sit with 57 to go. We know we probably won't go back to green until, let's just say, maybe lap 54, depending on how many laps they have to take once the yellow comes back out. That being said, If I'm a crew chief, I'm also maybe counting on some caution laps to save some fuel here in the remaining laps of this race as well.
That has definitely got to be part of the calculation because, again, the aggression level is up, and usually when it gets to this type of deal at the race, yellow begets yellow, and I think you have to figure in. I don't think this is going to be the final yellow flag that we'll get today by any stretch.
I would agree. The infield care center is in the middle of the back straightaway here at Atlanta in the infield. Wendy Venturini is heading back there. But, Wendy, I know your coverage of your section of pit road does not stop. What's happening?
Yes, it's been eventful. You know, covering the truck series for us has been fun this weekend. A lot of the crew chiefs I hadn't covered since my last truck race 20 years ago. One of those crew chiefs is Doug George. He's still a crew chief over at Thorsport with some time in between for driver Luke Fenhouse. Now, here's the cool thing about Luke. He started 13th. He's moved up to 4th, but little by little, they've worked on this truck, and man, oh man, he's going to be a truck to watch. They're going to come down pit road. They're not going to take tires this time. They took him the last stop. It's going to be fuel only with a slight adjustment because he felt like he was on dirt on that last run. Very loose on the top. The bottom just did not have the momentum for him. So for Luke Fenhouse, when he hits pit road, they're going to tighten up his truck, driven by those crew chief decisions of Doug George. And I'll be back with you guys. I'm going to head over.
Under the red flag here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Freight 208, Kyle Busch is your race leader. Connor Mozak runs second. Third is Grant Enfinger. Luke Fenhouse is running fourth. Ben Rhodes is fifth. And we'll be back with more from Atlanta right after this.
NASCAR's only street race returns to the streets of Chicago July 5th and 6th. Lock in your ticket to summer thrills now. Visit NASCARChicago.com for more.
The dry spell is over for Alex Bowman. 90-degree right-hand turn remains. He makes it perfectly out onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is in the air, and Alex Bowman has won in the streets of Chicago.
Do you have an unused car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
Cleanup continues under red under the entirety of this 1.54-mile oval at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll be back with more of the Freight 208 from Atlanta. This is the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text stop to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Back here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, still under caution, red flag. The trucks are stopped on the backstretch due to an incident with Raja Karuth and William Sawalich. William Sawalich has just walked out of the infield care center. William, tell us what you saw from your perspective.
Yeah, I saw the 71 spinning in front. I don't know how he got going, but then I think I was going to be fine. I was definitely checked up enough, and the 18 got my right rear and just kind of got me up in the wall. So it is what it is. We're trying to make the most of our day, and we'll just learn for the next one.
All right, thanks. That's William Swalich. And Raja Karuth, we want to note that he was here and has left the Infield Care Center by the time we got here from pit road, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Wendy. We appreciate that. Joining us up here in the booth is the Executive Vice President and General Manager of Atlanta Motor Speedway, a man who has worked here for decades. Brandon Hutchison, this is the first question I want to ask you. Is it dish soap or Tide, which is going to be used a whole lot tonight to clean up this major oil down that we had?
I tell you, at first I thought we had a tire down. I didn't even know we had a blown engine, but yeah, they've went around the track a couple times now.
Well, it's a great weekend here, and we've really just started. We saw qualifying earlier. We're right here in the middle of the Freight 208. We've got the NASCAR Xfinity Series and the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250 coming up right after this race. And then tomorrow, the Better Health 400. How have things been here in Atlanta? This race weekend has been prepared in the perfect way.
I'll tell you what, we are so excited to finally have great weather coming into the weekend. The 11th year of the doubleheader, as you said, great racing here today, and tomorrow, the weather's even going to be a little bit nicer, and the Better Health 400 is upon us. Don't forget, just a year ago, it was 7/1000ths of a second that separated first from third place.
And I always like to point out, when I look at the finish of that race, you had those three, as you talked about, 7,000 separating them. But there's like 15, 18 cars like right behind them. I mean, it was a whale of a finish. And I've been at this a long time, right? And when you guys reconfigured this racetrack, there's no other place to watch a 1.5-mile race where you see this kind of racing. It is unique. It is a unicorn among the NASCAR racetracks. And I tell people now, this is a must-see. You've got to come to Atlanta to watch this race. The leader can't get away. The pack's always there. And it is such a hybrid of Daytona and Talladega, and it just brings these great races and great finishes.
Perfectly said. 2, 3, 4 wide racing. The last 52 laps of that race last February was amazing. I've seen a lot of racing too, and I have not seen racing as exciting as what we've seen since 2022 when we increased the banking from 24 to 28 degrees. If you haven't been to Atlanta Motor Speedway recently, you just haven't seen the new Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Brandon, Laura Beth Barnhart, our director, you were just showing her a picture on your phone. Can you share that with us and share it with the audience by describing it?
It is crazy. You know, Dover last year had the big duck, if you'll remember, so we had to top that. We went out and got sea lions. So we actually have live sea lions in the fan zone. And there I am getting kissed by the sea lions this morning. It's a fan favorite. We try to stay new, special, and different with everything that we do, and this race is no different, and the fans are loving it.
So what do you feed the sea lion? Do they have little sardines? How do you handle all that out there?
That's a great question. They didn't let me feed the sea lions, but they were very attentive to the handlers when I walked away, so I'm sure that they were feeding them something to be nice.
All right, Brandon, we're about to get back under the yellow here very shortly, but this is a great race weekend here. Looking forward to tomorrow's Better Health 400. We get to come back in the middle of summer, nighttime racing here at Atlanta, the first race of the new Bracket Challenge as well.
Great seats still available for tomorrow for the Better Health 400. Hopefully your listeners will come out and join us if they can. But, yeah, we're going Saturday night racing. The Quaker State 400 available at Walmart is going to be here June 27th and 28th. Go to AtlantaMotorspeedway.com. Find a price point and a package that works well for you. Thank you for having me, and let's go racing.
Yeah, thank you for hosting us. We appreciate that. Brandon Hutchison, the Executive Vice President and General Manager here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
You mentioned brackets. It's the NASCAR version of March Madness, right? We're going to rank the drivers, and they'll go at it for, was it 5 weeks?
5 weeks. 5 weeks, which is going to be a lot of fun. And it all starts. Look, so you're taking a bracket, right? And the brackets are going to be seeded based on the prior 3 races before the Atlanta race and where they are in points. Now, you might have Kyle Larson going head-to-head with Chase Elliott, for example. You might have Kyle Larson going head-to-head with the driver who's 30th in points. And that might look easy when you're making a bracket saying, I'm taking Kyle Larson. But realize we're at Atlanta Motor Speedway where anything can happen, and the last-place qualifier could be the first-place finisher.
And it will only get tougher as the bracket goes along, right? So we'll eventually work down from, 32 drivers down to the final two, the final bracket, final race.
Yeah, going to be very exciting. We are back under yellow here at Atlanta Motor Speedway as the trucks are headed around, led by defending winner Kyle Busch. His crew chief, Brian Patty, by the way, Mark, yesterday saying this truck that Kyle is driving right now is the same truck where they were able to win at Texas Motor Speedway last year. So it is a proven piece of machinery with that Chevrolet Silverado.
As many times as the jet dryer has gone by those trucks when they were stopped under red and kind of blew the stay dry at them, Fox just had a picture of the trucks, and they had a layer of this all over the truck, and there's got to be some inside the cockpit of these trucks as well for the drivers, and I guess they had no other choice, right? They had to take care of the racetrack, and the drivers were kind of stuck out there getting sandblasted, if you will, for a lap or two.
I'll be honest with you, there was so much oil dry being blown around this racetrack, I actually thought it was later in the day. Now that that cloud has settled, it seems to have brightened up here at the track.
Yeah, it did kind of darken the sky just a bit. That is a lot of stay dry. That is as much as I've seen put down at a racetrack in a long, long time. They had to put it down again and again and again. They took care of it, blew it off the racetrack. They used an Elgin sweeper truck to kind of suck up some of that with their broom and the suction they have, and they had to do it again as well. So they had a lot going on out there, and they're still working on that at the entry of turn number 3.
Yeah, right now pretty much the entrance of pit road is covered up with some oil dry, but we are back under caution. The field is in tow behind the Ford Mustang Dark Horse pace car right now as they get that little bit of cleanup done, and the yellow light is still on, but the field is actually being towed in turn number 4. Pat Patterson, I know you're up there. Mark was talking about the nice sandblasting that these trucks have gotten out there. What is the field looking like to you up there in turn 4?
Better than it was. Let's put it that way. A minute ago, they might as well have been in the desert with the wind blowing. I mean, there was a lot of that speedy dry that they were trying to get gathered up and get off the racetrack. Felt bad for the guys sitting in the trucks back there, but that was then. This is now. We're going to get it cleaned up. We won't be that far away from getting back to racing, and they're making the effort over here in 3 and 4 continuously to get us back to a raceable condition here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Want to remind everybody again, PRN will have the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250 at 4:30 Eastern Time this afternoon from this very same Atlanta Motor Speedway. The RCR duo of Jesse Love and Austin Hill will lead them to the green flag.
Last year's dominant driver in Jesse Love and last year's race winner in Austin Hill right up at the front. All right, right now the field is in 1 and 2. We'll see if the light comes off, the red light at the entrance to pit road, and the green light comes on as they're in tow behind that Mustang Dark Horse. We do see Daniel Hemrick on pit road. He was actually a driver who got some unfortunate contact in that caution. He wasn't the cause of it, but he does have some front-end damage on his McAnally Hilgeman Chevrolet, that Napa Chevrolet as well, and so they're working on that. So we have seen some trucks on pit road, and Mark, right now it looks like that pit road is going to stay closed. Doug Turnbull, I would like to ask you, I know we've talked about the cleanup out there. I want to talk about the racing, because right now we have 55 laps to go, and this track seems to have changed as we've evolved through the first 80 laps of this race. What are you seeing up in 1 and 2 when it's under green?
For sure. Well, what we're seeing is that when they're coming down the front straightaway, these cars, or the trucks rather, back up to each other, and then they get into the turns, and it's like they spring forward, and the truck pushing it comes apart from it by a truck length or two a little bit. And so it's interesting to see the trucks that get those runs and how they come apart, and then exiting the turn, they kind of come back together for the backstretch run again. And so as opposed to, we lump this with super speedways now at Daytona and Talladega, but the biggest difference from what we saw just a week ago is they don't stay tight and up on each other in the pack in the same way. They kind of zigzag and they sawtooth out a little bit. I also see, guys, handling for sure is an issue. Kyle Busch has a truck that can handle and can zigzag in between lines there, and maybe Rajah Caruth did not. We'll have to see, but handling matters, and we certainly see them having to time their runs a little differently than at other tracks.
So again, as they cross the stripe, we have completed 81 of 135 laps, 54 to go. We've had 6 leaders, 7 lead changes in this race. Kyle Busch has led 33 laps. Connor Mozak has led 30. Rajah Caruth 8. before his problem. Corey Heim, before his problem, led 5. Jack Wood, who won stage number 1, has led 4 laps.
Yeah, Dawson Sutton has taken his truck onto pit road for a little bit of service. Again, pit road is closed as the field is coming off of turn 2. It just opened. The green light is on right now, so we are going to have a cycle of pit stops. Mark, now 54 laps to go. We're probably going to go back to green with just over 50 laps. I feel like now that Sunoco race fuel can go the distance, but again, do you want to go the distance? How far do you want to plan for going over the distance?
I think at this point they'll have enough fuel if we go green for maybe 1 overtime at least. And again, as we've talked about, I think we'll see the yellow flag again. I just have a hard time believing, as competitive and as aggressive as this race has gotten, that we will not see another yellow flag.
Yeah, and I feel like Kyle Busch has obviously got him to the place where he wants to be. We saw it last week in the Daytona 500, and you got to hear it all right here with the Motor Racing Network. We had the wreck happen right at the front of the field. I feel like the way Atlanta races, Mark, with the Craftsman Truck Series, if Kyle Busch can keep himself out there, that is a place where he can avoid the carnage and not be part of it. But Kyle Busch does lead them onto pit lane, and we will start things off with Wendy Venturini.
Our first truck right here on pit road is going to be the 99 truck of Ben Rhodes, who's currently running in the 5th spot. They took Goodyear tires the last time down pit road, so it is only going to be Sunoco fuel and a slight adjustment for his tight condition. Also on pit road, 4th place competitor Luke Fenhouse with Sunoco fuel only. Andrew?
Yeah, Kyle Busch is in. It looks like they're going to be fuel only. The 81 of Connor Mozak, fuel only. And Grant Enfinger as well, fuel only. A lot of splash and goes here. The big question, can you make it to the end? Did you put enough fuel in that race truck? We're going to have to find out.
Kyle Busch, Connor Mozak, Ben Rhodes, Caden Honeycutt, Grant Enfinger, Gio Ruggiero, Luke Fenhouse, Tanner Gray, the first 8 off of pit lane.
And you see the strategy right there. They're feeling like the Goodyear tires are good, and they're going to safely take them to the distance. They topped them off with Sunoco race fuel. Now, the big question, when they come back to the stripe, this time by under caution, there will be 52 laps to go. Once we get back to green, can we hold it there all the way to the checkered flag? The racing already has been thrilling here on the NASCAR Racing Network.
It absolutely has. A great Craftsman Truck Series race here today. A lengthy stop for Michael McDowell. He has come back out onto the racetrack. Had a chance to talk to him yesterday. He talked about, running the Truck Series. This is just his 4th start. He wants to be one of those guys that's won a Cup race, an Xfinity race, and a truck race. So he has Xfinity and Cup already off the list, the bucket list there. So he'd like to do that. He said the other thing that he found really kind of cool about the trucks, he said with the next-gen Cup car, you're kind of looking out the front of it, and there's really not a whole lot you can see. The trucks have this massive windshield. He said you can almost see the kid eating a hot dog in the grandstand as you come out of the corners. You have so much more to see, and he said it's really kind of interesting to have that perspective where it kind of widens out, and there's a whole lot more that a driver can look at when he's driving a truck.
I just love the fact that Michael McDowell during our pre-race told us that Mike Grieche, who's over at Spire Motorsports with the Truck Series program, just said, hey, you want to run Daytona? Sure. Hey, how about Atlanta? Sure. Mike Grieche's been around this sport for a long time. His son, Matt Grieche, actually is the general manager of Nashville Superspeedway. We get to go there for a Sunday night race this summer, which I know we're always excited to go to that concrete racetrack as well. Great family of racing. Matt Grieche, a great general manager of that facility.
I go back with his dad all the way to Stafford Motor Speedway years and years and years ago. Let's go down to Wendy Venturini.
I'm on top of the pit box for Luke Fenhouse with crew chief Doug George, and I was just asking the million-dollar question to Doug. Is there enough fuel in these trucks to make it to the end? Doug George, what is your answer?
Well, we have enough to get to the end. I don't know how many green white checkouts we'll have. It's going to be close. We're always in saving fuel mode, so hey, I'm just happy with the way that Luke is driving. Soda Sense Ford has been running good. We fought serious loose condition earlier. Made some pretty big swings. He likes it. We need a little bit more. Stopped for a little splash of fuel, trying to get to the end. Like you said, it's a gamble. Some of those guys stayed on the second stage. They ran out of fuel, so obviously our fuel calculators are close. So we're just doing the best we can right here, trying to get to the end.
What's the key to staying up front and maybe getting that truck to victory lane today?
Well, these guys are all good in this series, so we know that, right? Truck Series is very tough. Luke's, inexperienced, but he's doing a phenomenal job. He's very smart. He studies. He's learned a lot from different drivers. So he's surrounded by good drivers at the ThorSport. So he just needs to be smart and just do what he normally does, and we'll be fine.
All right, that is Doug George, spoken like a true veteran, over 30 years of experience on top of the pit box here in the Truck Series.
So they've been given the 1 to go signal. Will go green with 50 to go in the Freight 208. Kyle Busch, Connor Mozak. Top 2, Ben Rhodes 3rd, Caden Honeycutt 4th, 5th, Grant Enfinger, Gio Ruggiero 6th, 7th, Luke Fenhouse, Tanner Gray 8th, 9th, Bailey Curry, Jake Garcia in 10th.
Running 11th is Matt Mills, Chandler Smith is 12th, Frankie Muniz is 13th, Josh Rayum running 14th, 15th is Michael McDowell, Dawson Sutton is 16th, 17th is Tyler Ankrum, Spencer Boyd is 18th, Ty Majeski 19th, 20th is Daniel Hemrick.
21st, Stuart Friesen. Tony Breitinger is 22nd. 23rd, Andre Perez. Then it's Jack Wood, 24th. 25th, Lane Riggs. Matt Crafton, 26th. 27th, Corey Heim. The rest of these drivers are out. Justin Carroll, 28th. 29th, Raja Karuth. William Sawalich, 30th. 31st, Nathan Bird. And Keith McGee, 32nd.
Pat Patterson, we finally have the light off on the pace car.
Yeah, and this racetrack has changed, guys. We went from bright sunshine now to cloud cover here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We all know how tricky this place is. We'll see how much difference it makes to these trucks. Here comes Kyle Busch and Grant Enfinger. We are ready to restart this race.
All right, here we go as the field heads into the restart zone. Kyle Busch on the outside of Grant Enfinger. The green flag is out. Enfinger getting a big push from Gio Ruggiero. Kyle Busch getting a push from Connor Mozak.
It's Chevrolets and Toyotas hooked up there in the top lane of the bottom line as Kyle Busch noses ahead with a big push from Connor Mozak, who won the pole for this race. Grant Enfinger and Gino Ruggiero. Ruggiero running the best he has all day.
Mozak doing a great job of moving Kyle Busch forward. Grant Enfinger now is going to challenge on the bottom. Here comes Enfinger on the very bottom of the racetrack. He'll get side by side with Busch off of turn 4.
As they work their way out of the turn, back to the stripe. Enfinger now grabs, he's side by side with third place, Ben Rhodes rather, as Kyle Busch and Connor Mozak have cleared him.
That inside line led by Enfinger is now back to fourth place because they couldn't stay hooked together with Ruggiero. Up top, it's Kyle Busch, Connor Mozak, Ben Rhodes, and the Bailey Curry number 45 machine.
And here is Caden Honeycutt. He is up in this mix with the top 4 as well. He and Rhodes now taking a look at Mozak and Kyle Busch. They run nose to tail off turn 4.
Connor Mozak, the rookie driver, started this race on the pole. He's still racing up front, right on the tailgate of Kyle Busch as they rocket off into 1.
What a run. Ben Rhodes gets right to the back of Connor Mozak there. Is now pulling up on him. It's that 45 machine of Honeycutt. Now Honeycutt cuts to the inside but gets back in line as Kyle Busch stays in the lead.
The top 8 trucks run right out next to the wall here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch in control. Meanwhile, about 12 or 13 trucks back, we do see some side-by-side racing. Corey Heim trying to pitch back up.
Now Corey Heim, again the winner at Daytona, ran out of fuel, and he has been knocked back in the field. Leaders back in 1.
And right on the rear deck lid of Kyle Busch is Connor Mozak. And then he pulls off of him there as he gets pushed out of line. He goes to the inside with Ben Rhodes up high. Kyle Busch stays out front, but Mozak's going to lose some ground, looks like.
Ben Rhodes has been on the move all day long, trying to get to the front. Kyle Busch will shut the door on him. Connor Mozak will go to the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch will hold the field in bay off 4.
Connor Mozak from the bottom is going to lose a couple of spots. He now drops back to the 4th. Now the 5th spot. We'll see if he drops further as Kyle Busch leads him into 1.
The lesson learned by that rookie Mozak there, stay in line. He is losing several spots now. It's Ben Rhodes, big winless streak right up on the tailgate of Kyle Busch. Third place is the Caden Honeycutt car.
Everybody up on the top side of the racetrack, midway down the backstretch here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch enter turn 3, right in the middle of the racetrack. It'll be Ben Rhodes going right in his footsteps. Then it's Caden Honeycutt.
Here's a driver getting into the mix we haven't talked a lot about today, Bailey Curry. He pulls up on the back deck lid of Caden Honeycutt. That's the fight for 4th place.
And that's a big-time fight there in that spot. As it looks like it's actually the Tanner Gray machine that got part of that. They do look very similar there. Tanner Gray and that Tricon Toyota's in 4th. 3rd is Honeycutt. The leader still Busch.
Down the backstretch they go underneath the big American flag into turn 3. Kyle Busch out in front. The top 7, 8 cars now all single file. Top side of the racetrack as they work on 4.
Headlight to tailgate. This is one tight field with Kyle Busch leading Ben Rhodes right now. Then it's Caden Honeycutt, Tanner Gray, and Bailey Curry.
Let's see if Ben Rhodes can recoil and try to pull up to Kyle Busch. He puts a headlight to the inside, but then tucks in right behind him. Really in single file, Pat Patterson, for about the top 15 cars. The first car on the inside line, Pat, is still Connor Mozak, but way back.
Doug, you're going to have help. There's no pulling down there and trying to create your own lane without some help. Ben Rhodes is going to do exactly what he needs to do, exactly what he's doing. Stay in that second spot behind the leader.
Caden Honeycutt took a peek to the inside of Ben Rhodes, thought better of it. Again, they are nose to tail heading to 1.
And then they kind of squeeze together. There's the inner turn number 1 there, kind of run out of room, if you will. You cannot slam draft in these trucks. Who's looking at the inside now at about 7th place? Georgia boy Chandler Smith, but he has no help.
Ben Rhodes now shows the nose to Kyle Busch and thinks better of it. Jumps right back in line in 3 and 4. Once again, Caden Honeycutt is right there. Connor Mozak also in that top 4.
Looking at the trucks now as they come by the start-finish line, single file. Ben Rhodes, however, keeping Kyle Busch very honest right on the back tailgate.
And then he peeks just a bit to the inside and tucks in line there, just kind of toying with Kyle Busch. Of course, Busch, the veteran there, not going to fall for any trickery. His 3rd place, Caden Honeycutt's having a fine day for DC Motorsports. 4th is going to be Tanner Gray.
I'm impressed with Gio Ruggiero as he runs in that top 6 or 7 positions. He's done a nice job of staying out of any kind of problems this afternoon. Right now, he's in a good spot to maybe get a great finish here today.
Right behind him, Grant Enfinger trying to rally back after getting caught on the inside. He's getting some help from Matt Smith, Chandler Smith, to stay up with the lead group.
Yeah, Chandler Smith, Matt Mills, Grant Enfinger there in the back of the top 10. First time we've really said Matt Mills' name all day today. As up front, Caden Honeycutt gets a run of Ben Rhodes on the back straightaway, but Rhodes cuts him off.
Can't do anything about it now. Backs off of Ben Rhodes there as they work. Bailey Curry also in this top 5 trucks or so as they work again at the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Corey Heim trying to step out of line and make up some ground.
Corey Heim 3 laps down after running out of fuel before the end of stage number 2. All he can do is try and gain what he can, but Kyle Busch continues to lead into 1.
And Busch is choosing the middle to high lane. They fade to the high lane now there in turns 1 and 2. Dipping just a bit to the inside, then getting back in line is that 3rd place truck, the rookie Honeycutt.
Everybody talking to their spotter and thinking as the laps wind down, what will I do? Where can I make some moves? Kyle Busch right now content to lead the conga line, if you will, up next to the wall.
Corey Heim -3 is working hard to get to -2 because there's 4 drivers up ahead of him -2. If he can get back to -2, leapfrog them, that's another 4 points. You never know how it plays out.
Yeah, right now, Corey Heim at 3 laps down. He's not going to get a free pass, Mark. That's not going to happen. He's also likely not going to get a wave around. For a wave around to be possible, every car on the lead lap will have to pit, and he is just not in the spot to be able to do that. If he's going to get his laps back, he's going to have to come by him honestly by passing trucks.
Do it the old-fashioned way. Here is Kyle Busch down to the stripe. 38 laps to go. Ben Rhodes still in his tire tracks as they climb the banking in turn number 1.
And they climb on the high side. The Andres Perez de Lara machine, wounded, is actually dragging the ground right now. Sparks coming out of it as they lap him another time. He's going to come to pit road. It is a single file line of this top 20 or so trucks.
Kyle Busch into turn 3 now. Keeps it in the middle lane. 1 lane off of the top side of the racetrack. Ben Rhodes keeping him honest right up front.
Kyle Busch is able to block this field, and really no one is willing to pull out of line. We see drivers make up ground if they go low in the corners, but Doug Turnbull, they lose it when they come back to the straightaway.
That's correct, as Kyle Busch has that clean air, has the advantage out front, and the drivers coming to the inside have no help. Now, what I saw is the drivers zigzag through the turns, but no one could get out of line long enough, Pat Patterson, to make a move.
Yeah, it's going to get anxious here in just a little while. These trucks are going to have to try to figure something out and start taking some runs at Kyle Busch right now, though, in total control off 4.
Caden Honeycutt, again, he has some ideas about going after Ben Rhodes. He peeks again to the inside, thinks better of it. Leaders back in 1.
He's going to need some help if he does that, and Tanner Gray would have to go with him to make it happen. So a manufacturer clash there. On the inside, about 10th, 11th back, is still Corey Heim, 2 laps down.
Yeah, down the backstretch once again. Kyle Busch just a half a truck length in front of Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes, a bright orange truck, today. Kyle Busch in that Gainsborough paint scheme that they're so familiar with over at Spire. He leads them off of 4 again.
35 laps to go this time by here in the Freight 208. And right now the field is nose to tailgate as they go into 1.
And the first one out of line this time around is Chandler Smith, the Georgia driver, at about the 8th spot, looking to the inside of Matt Mills. Last time by as Kyle Busch leads. Tony Breidinger had cut a tire. She's coming to pit road. She was already 1 lap down.
Not going to work out for Chandler Smith, I can tell you that, as he backs up into the field. Everybody trying to fall back in line. Single file up front, next to the wall, about 18 trucks deep.
34 laps to go. Kyle Busch has led 53 and counting as he leads the field back to the banking.
Who can make that move? They're staying all in line through the top 10 right now as Ben Rhodes puts a headlight to his inside there in turn 2. Even further to the inside looks third place Caden Honeycutt, but no one's going to pull out a line to lose spots right now.
Right now those spotters are talking to each other going, well, are you going to go? I'm going to go. What are we going to do? We got to start trying to make some moves. Nobody advancing positions right now. Kyle Busch just dominates the front.
Mark, I do want to mention that we do feel like they have plenty of Sunoco fuel to go to the end. Gio Ruggiero, who's running in 6th right now, was told to put it in max save mode. One thing we talk about, again, survival. Could this race go into overtime? If you're getting close to the edge of that fuel mileage, you're going to be better off right now as we sit here with 33 laps to go to run in line and make sure that you don't overuse the Sunoco fuel you have in your tank.
You never know if you go to overtime, if you get a second overtime or a third overtime. We heard from one crew chief, thought they were good for 1, but again, if you have an overtime, that usually leads to another overtime, so you want to certainly be in better position. I'm thinking about Ben Rhodes right now. We talked about in our pre-race show, he has gone, 38 races. It's been May of 2023 since he was in victory lane at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's a 2-time champion. You got to believe he's as hungry as you can get riding behind Kyle Busch.
Yeah, after winning the championship in 2023 and coming up short in 2024, you know he is ready to get back to victory lane. We were just told from pit road that Gio Ruggiero has been told that he is good to go, so he has been set free to go out there and race. Kyle Busch leads Ben Rhodes, Caden Honeycutt, Tanner Gray, and Bailey Curry with 31 laps to go in the Freight 208.
Let's get racing. She's rounding the corner, straight for the straight talk aisle. Woo, pile up on aisle 9. She's picking out a new plan. Incredible win.
Get a free Samsung A16 or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with real unlimited data from Straight Talk. Available at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk, official partner of NASCAR. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Copyright 2025 Verizon. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC, and is used with permission.
The year was 1993. The NASCAR Cup Series season kicked off with the Dale and Dale Show at the Daytona 500.
Dale Jarrett's got the lead. He goes to the inside. Earnhardt's not going to get him. Dale Jarrett is going to win the Daytona 500 by STP. Earnhardt second.
The 1993 NASCAR Cup Series season. All the highs and lows. Relive them all on MRN's exclusive podcast, The 1993 Season. Available on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
We have action on the racetrack, first of all with our pole sitter, but another one spinning in front of you, Doug Turnbull.
It's Frankie Muniz there who spun out in turn 2, but there was more leading up to this. The lap before, as the caution has come out, saw a 4-wide pass in turn 2. You can't do 4 wide here, and it ended up pinching the pole sitter, Connor Mozak, into the wall. There was some debris that flew on the track, and he went to pit road right as we were coming back for break. But now Frankie Muniz's machine is stopped at turn 2, so the action will grind to a halt again.
Really tough here. We are now working our 4th caution in the Freight 208. This is the second one for cause. 28 laps to go. Our coverage today is brought to you by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco fuels peak performance. From Atlanta Motor Speedway, you're listening to the NASCAR Racing Network, home of the tough trucks of NASCAR.
NASCAR fans, the time is now to turn your love of racing into free tickets, merchandise, VIP experiences, and much, much more. Rack up fan rewards points by watching races at home, playing fantasy, completing challenges, and visiting tracks. Then redeem your points for epic prizes. You are in the driver's seat. What are you waiting for? Sign up for the free NASCAR Fan Rewards Loyalty Program today at NASCAR.com/fan rewards.
This is Kyle Larson.
I'm David Grau.
Hi, I'm Donnie Shaw.
This is Brian
Brian Brown.
This is Danny Dietrich.
Wing Nation is your go-to destination for all the latest sprint car news and interviews from the stars of sprint car racing from around the country. This is Steve Post. Aaron Evernham, Ashley Strummy, and I will have all the latest news, insights, and conversations on Wing Nation's YouTube or Facebook pages, or listen and download and subscribe to Wing Nation on any podcast platform.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. Wing Nation.
Wing Nation.
Wing Nation. All sprint cars, all the time.
So it looks like Connor Mozak, wrong place, wrong time, as Frankie Muniz tried to exit turn number 2, thought he was clear, moved up the racetrack. Mozak was there. Problems for both.
Yeah, and that's tough because Frankie Muniz was actually having a good, solid, clean race day up into that. But to your point, Mark, he didn't have any room to move up on the racetrack at all, and he did. He really needed to keep that truck pinched down to the lane that he was in. Really tough for Connor Mozak. For Connor Mozak, his truck does have damage, but it does continue to roll around the racetrack. He's in a tough spot right now as we have 27 laps to go in this race, but we know he has a fast truck as well. All right, let's go out to Doug Turnbull in turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, first off, Connor Mozak came by, and he had heavy, as you would expect, right front damage there. It looked like the tire might have even been pushed in a little bit, so I think I saw him duck on the pit road there after making a lap or two under yellow around the track. Frankie Muniz is now being towed. He's on the hook there, and they're going to try to tow him back toward the pit working area. Another thing, too, I didn't expect, given the amount of contact, is it looks like the safety crew is peeling a decal off of the wall that got contact in this wreck. We've seen decals go awry before and factor into the finish of the race, and so they certainly don't want that here.
So one thing this yellow flag will do will sort of take the fuel thing out of the question mark area, right? So we thought we had enough for the first overtime. Now under this yellow, maybe that gives them enough fuel for the second one, third one, in case we go to overtime.
Yeah, and again, for the incident that happened right now, this is a longer caution with a lot of laps under the yellow flag right now as the Mustang Dark Horse takes the field across the start-finish line. Kyle Busch leading the way. They have opened up pit road. We don't have many takers. Josh Rayum is one of the drivers who've made it onto the racetrack. Spencer Boyd is coming onto pit road, rather. We also have Dawson Sutton coming out once again. Let's go to Wendy Venturini.
One of the guys that we haven't talked much about, Tanner Gray, he's sitting in the 4th place with his truck right now, crew chief Jeff Hansley. They were just talking on the radio communication when we go back green what kind of truck they have through traffic. He says it's a little too draggy to lead the lane. They're talking about the 17 being able to push him towards that front. But right now, Tanner Gray is just assessing their situation, what kind of truck they have in the 4th spot with 26 laps to go, and can anyone get around Kyle Busch at that point? That's the topic on my end of pit road.
One thing about doing the truck race, had a chance to bump into Jeff Hensley. And way back, once upon a time, I walked into the garage in 1989 up there in Horse Pasture, Virginia. Said, how about putting Chuck Bound in the car? We got Nescafe, and they won the championship in 1990 with that combination. So it's good to kind of relive some of that a long ways ago. Let's go to Andrew Curlin.
Yeah, tough break for that number 81 of Connor Mozak, the pole sitter. He just came down, took 2 right side tires. The crew went to work on that right side of the vehicle. I will say he pulled away, and the left front tire had all the Goodyear letters rubbed off of it, but it doesn't seem like it's a concern for the 81, but he came down pit road. Let's see what he can do. Maybe tires is a good thing. You can go on offense this final run.
And that's what's going to be good. So, Mark, they're going to come across the start-finish line this time by, and the yellow flag is still being prominently displayed, so this is not one to go. The yellow flag is in the air. We now have 25 laps to go here in the Freight 208. We saw, once we went back to green after that big caution that caused a lot of cleanup to happen on the racetrack, that the trucks pretty much got in line. We did see some people try to make some moves unsuccessfully. Now we're going to be within the final 25 laps of this race. When we go back to the green flag, have to wonder how much the energy is about to amp up.
You got to believe somebody's going to try to work the bottom line and try to get some folks down there to build some momentum. As you talked about, we're getting into that closing stage. So it's just not a matter of if, but when somebody does that. And I'm sure right now on top of the roof here where the spotters are, there's maybe some negotiations going on, not only with just team members, but maybe with other manufacturers within their manufacturer group, what we can do to help each other here at the end to move up.
Pat Patterson, I'm curious on your end of the racetrack in turns 3 and 4. We have seen, especially on this side, a lot of drivers dip down going into 3. They pass a lot of trucks, then they lose all of their momentum. My question is, how many trucks do you think they need to go with them? Is it 2? Is it 3 before they can actually get a second lane going?
Well, this restart obviously is going to be tremendously critical for Kyle Busch and how much of a push he's going to get. I'm assuming he will take the top side on this restart, and then it's just going to be game on for the bottom guys to try to have enough energy down there to stay with him. Right now, but the top side of this racetrack, Mark and Brad, we all know that the fastest way around here is up on the top side of this racetrack. So it's going to be tough. I just haven't seen anybody other than Ben Rhodes who's got, right now the mantra, if you will, to go down there and try to make that work. So it'll be interesting to see what he does as we watch everybody go down and make a choose. And there are a lot of people. Those top 6 guys are up there on the top side.
Let's get a quick update from Andrew Curlin.
Yeah, Connor Mozak came back down pit road. The crew put left side tires on, so he's going to have 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. They're taking every opportunity they can to work on this race car, so maybe he can make a late run in this race.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Kyle Busch leads with 24 laps to go. We'll go green with 23 to go. Ben Rhodes running second. Third is Caden Honeycutt. Fourth, Tanner Gray. Bailey Curry is in fifth. Gio Ruggiero is sixth. Grant Enfinger seventh. Matt Mills is eighth. Luke Fenhouse is ninth. 10th is Chandler Smith.
Tyler Ankrum 11th. 12th is Stuart Friesen. Daniel Hemrick scored 13th. Ty Majeski 14th. Jake Garcia 15th. 16th, Michael McDowell. Josh Ray 17th. Dawson Sutton 18th. 19th is going to be Spencer Boyd. Connor Mozak is being listed the last car on the lead lap in 20th.
Pat Patterson, we have the lights off on that Ford Mustang Dark Horse pace car. What does that lineup look like to you on the inside and outside?
Well, Gio Ruggiero is in the inside here against Kyle Busch. I'd love to be inside his head right now to see, looking over at Kyle Busch going, 20-some laps to go here, and I got a shot at this guy. He's in a good spot down on the bottom, and good news for him, he's got Grant Enfinger right behind him, and that 9 truck is going to shove him as hard as he can. Meanwhile, Ben Rhodes is right behind the guy that will start up front, and that is Kyle Busch. Well, how much of a shove is he going to get? Caden Honeycutt's in the mix. Man, we are ready to settle it up here at Atlanta.
23 laps to go in the Freight 208. Yellow flag is out. Kyle Busch getting a push from Ben Rhodes, but Gio Ruggiero hangs right beside him on the inside.
With 23 laps to go, Gio Ruggiero, who was 6th, but took the choose on the bottom line to lead that inside lane, getting pushed by Enfinger. Up top is Kyle Busch, Ben Rhodes, and the car behind him, Cade the Honeycutt there, as they are glued together for now.
The bottom line is losing a little bit of that energy. Now they get going. Now it goes 3 wide. Enfinger now will challenge on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch leads Ben Rhodes, but here comes the number 9 of Grant Enfinger.
Ruggiero dropping on the bottom of the racetrack. He got stuck in the middle groove. Kyle Busch being leading the field right now with Ben Rhodes on his rear deck lid, but here comes the inside lane.
Not sure how Ruggiero got split 3 wide middle, but he gets back to the bottom line, lines up at about 8th. Up front, Kyle Busch leads the outside line. Grant Enfinger leading the inside line as Caden Honeycutt almost takes it 3 wide in second.
Luke Fenhouse, if he could just get up and shove the 9 truck, which he does right there. Here comes Enfinger on the bottom. He got a great shove, but is it enough to clear Kyle Busch? He tries, but he's not going to get it done.
He nosed out in front briefly, but here comes Busch rumbling around on the outside again. But Fenhouse, again, a big shove to Grant Enfinger to try to push him by Kyle in turn 1.
Fenhouse, a part-time driver and new to this series here. Kyle Busch, a wily veteran, getting a push from Ben Rhodes there. And Chandler Smith gets right up behind them and fans out 3 wide on the backstretch. They're almost blocking each other.
2 by 2 as they race into 3. Kyle Busch out in front by a truck link. Enfinger doing all he can with Fenhouse on the bottom of the racetrack. Now it will be Enfinger almost able to clear Kyle Busch. Can't get it done.
20 laps to go. It feels like they're racing to the checkered flag already. Grant Enfinger gets a little bit loose with the push from Ty Majeski on the inside. Kyle Busch leads the outside lane.
Disorganizing the inside lane there, so Kyle Busch goes down to side draft Enfinger. Enfinger noses ahead of him. Fenhouse is pushing him there. They can't quite get clear, though.
Fenhouse doing all he can to give a shove to that 9 truck, but he cannot clear Kyle Busch. Here comes the 9 one more time. Can he slide up in front of Kyle Busch? He can if he wants it right now. He missed his opportunity.
He tries to slide there, can't do it. Busch at the line, half a truck lead as he moves into turn number 1. Again, Fenhouse pushing pushing the Enfinger truck into turn number 1.
And the two lanes are even as Enfinger gets pushed ahead, but Kyle Busch gathers up Ben Rhodes and gets the steam down the back straightaway, even for the lead.
Enfinger smartly gets out of the gas enough to get Fenhouse back to give him another shove. Kyle Busch, though, right up at the outside of the wall. Now Enfinger clears Kyle Busch off 4.
Enfinger with a major block to get up in front of Kyle Busch, but it's successful. Now Enfinger can take that preferred outside groove, but here comes Busch to the inside.
Zigging, zagging down to the inside with a push from Rhodes goes Kyle Busch. He gets right in front of Enfinger again. What a power move for that Gamebridge Chevrolet of Kyle Busch back in the lead.
Once again, Kyle Busch controls the field down the backstretch into 3. Ben Rhodes rides in that 3rd spot. Right behind Busch is Enfinger now. They're all grouped up. They'll take another shot at Kyle Busch off 4.
Luke Fenhouse working hard on the bottom. He's got Chandler Smith helping him to draft. And Gio Ruggiero now moving into that inside line as Busch leads them back to 1 with 17 to go.
It's a Chevy of Busch with a push from Enfinger to Toyota, then 2 Fords down low. Fenhouse and Chandler Smith. What an upset would it be if Luke Fenhouse got to the lead?
Fenhouse has got a horse, man. That thing pulled right up in front of Kyle Busch. Now he gets a shove from Chandler Smith. It's Luke Fenhouse at the bottom of the racetrack trying to hang on to Kyle Busch. He's almost got him cleared off 4.
Somehow he's hanging on, and it's working for him. Luke Fenhouse on the bottom. He will not lead this lap, but it's close. Kyle Busch still in the lead on the outside.
And a big push from Chandler Smith to Fenhouse into turn 1. Fenhouse is going to nose in front of the 7 of Kyle Busch. Can he clear him? No, he doesn't, because Busch gets a big toe down the back straightaway with Enfinger pushing him.
Wow, it is tight racing up front as they move their way into turn 3. Luke Fenhouse now to the lead, top of the racetrack. He's got to hold on to it. Gets a little bit loose, but he's going to control the lead off of turn 4.
Got a big push from Chandler Smith. Smith now side by side to the inside of Kyle Busch, starting to fall back as Gio Ruggiero jumps to the outside. He's running 3rd.
What acuity expressed by these rookie drivers here. Fenhouse at 1st, Ruggiero at 3rd, as Kyle Busch is sandwiched in the middle there, looking to recoil and go for the lead again.
Fenhouse is in a good spot, but he's also in a dangerous spot because everybody's going to come hunting for him right now. Almost 3 wide off of 4. Fenhouse holds on to the lead. Bottom of the racetrack. Here's Chandler Smith.
14 laps to go. Chandler Smith getting a push from Stuart Friesen, but up top it's still Luke Fenhouse with Kyle Busch moving to the inside.
Just like he did 2 laps ago, to the inside for the lead. Kyle Busch is just going to saw off the top line and get in front of Fenhouse there. What a power move for Busch, looking for his 8th Atlanta win. Chandler Smith leading the line down low.
Kyle Busch now got the lead to the outside once again by half a truck length, working into turn 3. Chandler Smith trying to build the energy of the bottom line to get back up and duel with Busch.
Stuart Friesen is behind Chandler Smith. Behind him, Corey Heim, who's 3 laps down but can provide a great push. Friesen really stuffs it in to turn number 1 right behind Chandler Smith.
And then behind them is Gio Ruggiero on the top line. Grant Enfinger and Ben Rhodes have shuffled back there. The losers in this altercation up front as it's Busch and Chandler Smith even for the lead.
Chandler Smith now is going to get a good shove from Stuart Friesen, and he will move up and be right side by side with Busch now as they race off turn 4.
The Silverado of Kyle Busch being pushed by the F-150 of Luke Fenhouse. Stuart Friesen just got out of line on the inside, was able to save it with Chandler Smith on the inside lane leading.
And Corey Heim behind them, and a big surge, 4th on the bottom line for Daniel Hemrick. He's come out of nowhere to join this fray as Luke Fenhouse continues to push Kyle Busch up top.
Oh, Chandler Smith came so close to losing it once Stuart Friesen got into him just a moment ago right in front of me. Right now, though, Chandler Smith doing a great job. Bottom of the racetrack, trying to hold Busch back off the top.
Kyle Busch remains the leader up top, but Chandler Smith, as they come to the line, barely. Busch is the leader as they are door to door in turn number 1.
Talking Rock, Georgia's Chandler Smith leads the bottom line as 3 wide in the middle. Stuck goes Luke Fenhouse. Busch's help goes away. Fenhouse gets caught in the middle, and now that outside lane is losing steam as Chandler Smith cuts it off. Chandler Smith, your leader.
Chandler Smith has that lead. Kyle Busch will go right to his rear bumper now as he works the top side of the racetrack. It's Stuart Friesen dropping into that 3rd spot, and at the bottom of the racetrack, it's Fenhouse trying to work his way back up front.
The inside lane has lost its energy. Chandler Smith leads Kyle Busch and Stuart Friesen. Corey Heim in the mix. It looks like he's in 4th, but he's 3 laps down.
And right behind him is now Luke Finhouse in the real fourth position there as he got out of line and lost steam. Kyle Busch looking to set up his former employee, Chandler Smith, and he does to the inside.
Here comes Kyle Busch, bottom of the racetrack with that 7 truck. He works smoothly by him now pulls a truck length away from Chandler Smith, gives up the leadoff for.
Pole sitter Connor Mozak is gone to pit road. Here's Busch across the stripe. Just 9 laps to go in the Freight 208.
Can Chandler Smith repay the favor in turn 1? He stays in line for now. Momentum building to the inside as the NHR teammate trucks of Hemrick and Ankrum. They are about 4th in line down low. Stuart Friesen cuts them off.
Those guys trying to work together to get something going on the bottom line, but Kyle Busch pulls the train into turns 3 now, goes up next to the wall as he works off of turn number 4. Kyle Busch, again, the leader.
2 trucks on the inside is not going to be enough of a bottom lane to make something happen. 8 laps to go now in the Freight 208. Kyle Busch in front of Chandler Smith.
Today, Kyle Busch has been the only truck that's been able to really pull out of line and leapfrog others. Chandler Smith's going to try. So will Stuart Friesen at 3rd place, but they stay in line right now on the outside.
I give Daniel Hemrick and those guys a lot of credit. Tyler Ankrum working the bottom of the racetrack, trying to make something happen. They, again, will start working that bottom of the racetrack, and it's Tyler Ankrum trying to shove the 19 to the front.
Here's Kyle Busch storming across the start-finish line. 7 laps to go in this race. Chandler Smith, again, in his tire tracks as they go back to 1.
And Stuart Friesen in the 3rd position. Corey Himes' lap machine is 4th in line up top. Luke Finhouse, Gio Ruggiero, Grant Enfinger, Ben Rhodes, the top 8. Down low, Daniel Hemrick is 3rd on the inside line, even with Stuart Friesen.
It's going to get interesting up front if it hasn't already been interesting enough. Kyle Busch controls the field. He's up on the top side. Chandler Smith is there, but Hemrick is digging on the bottom with help from Ankrum.
Hemrick with damage on his truck. Now you've got 3 on the bottom. Tyler Ankrum, Bailey Curry helping Daniel Hemrick as the leaders head to 1.
And Chandler Smith looked inside briefly, stayed back in line, though, as Kyle Busch is going to go to the bottom line. Cut off the advance for Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick's going to try up high. Kyle Busch cuts him off and stays in the lead.
And Tyler Ankrum is right there. He's not giving up. Here comes Hemrick, bottom of the racetrack. The number 19 Napa machine going to the front. He has got Kyle Busch covered off of turn number 4.
He clears Busch, slides up in front of him. He's the leader as they come down to the stripe. 5 to go. Ankrum and Busch side by side for 2nd.
Daniel Hemrick leading his first laps of the day with a damaged truck, no less. Kyle Busch in 2nd spot up high. Down low, it's Tyler Ankrum. Daniel Hemrick has never won in the Truck Series before, and he's leading here with 5 to go.
Hemrick has got a lot of experience, and this is the kind of racing that he's accustomed to seeing here. Here comes Kyle Busch, bottom of the racetrack. He's going to take the lead away. Hemrick will slide back, move the 7 truck back to the top.
Daniel Hemrick now gets loose coming off of turn number 4. He's going to lose 5, 6, 10 spots. Kyle Busch now straight in front of Tyler Ankrum, side by side behind him into 1.
The dominator in the race a year ago, Tyler Ankrum in 2nd spot. Behind him in 3rd on the top side is Chandler Smith. The first car on the inside is the 44 of Bailey Curry as Kyle Busch is again your leader.
Man, Bailey Curry has had a great afternoon. Can Ankrum do anything with Busch? Is he going to have help? Can he pull something off right now? Top 4 trucks on the top side of the racetrack, nose to tail.
Ankrum hasn't won since Kentucky 2019. He's hungry. He chases Kyle Busch across the stripe with 3 laps to go.
They enter turn number 1. They choose the high line. Looking to the inside, though, Stuart Friesen. He's dragging Bailey Curry along. Friesen pulls even with 2nd place Ankrum. Kyle Busch, the Pied Piper, moves down to the bottom and soon will shift to the top.
Kyle Busch tries to block the advance. He's got 4 trucks coming after him, top side and the bottom side. Right now he can control both lanes. Stuart Friesen trying to make something happen. Dives back down to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll not get it done.
Kyle Busch leads him out front by himself. It's side by side behind him. Ankrum on the outside. Stuart Friesen on the inside.
Who's going to make the winning move here? Kyle Busch has both lanes under control. Stuart make that Tyler Ankrum try to back up the Chandler Smith truck on the outside as Kyle Busch cuts off that advance. Stuart Friesen looks inside.
Bailey Curry's going to give a huge push to Friesen. That's going to shove him out in front. He's going to take the lead. Can he hold on to it now? Kyle Busch slides back into that 2nd spot as Friesen has the lead off 4.
As they come down to the stripe, the white flag is waving. Just 1 lap to go. Friesen trying to hold off Kyle Busch.
But Busch darts to the inside with a push from Bailey Curry. His Chevrolet noses in front. It's Busch down low. Friesen up high with a push from Tyler Ankrum. They are neck and neck down the back straightaway for the win.
It is a run to the checkered flag, and they are side by side, 2 by 2, into turn 3. Kyle Busch trying to hold off Stuart Friesen. Friesen to the outside. Busch to the bottom of the racetrack. Nose to nose and door to door. Here they come for the win in Atlanta.
Friesen on the outside with the momentum. They bang doors. Kyle Busch will pull ahead. He will go back-to-back at Atlanta Motor Speedway and win the Freight 208. Stuart Friesen, the runner-up. Tyler Ankrum, third. Bailey Curry, fourth. And Chandler Smith rounding out the top 5. You'll hear from the top finishers and our race winner when we come back to Atlanta.
Motorsports isn't complicated. It's made up of races where you go as fast as you can, as best as you can, and as sideways as you can. Our team, Toyota Gazoo Racing. Toyota makes some seriously fast cars, and they all have great drivers, ones that win a lot. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, they're all part of a big, happy family of speed demons. Now you're up to speed. You in? Follow the action at tgrna.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
NASCAR Live Race Day continues on the NASCAR Racing Network.
Well, the gap, first to second, 17 thousandths of a second. Back from Kyle Busch to Stuart Friesen. When they exited turn number 4, Friesen on the high side. I thought he might have the momentum, but Kyle Busch, a little bit of a side draft. Then he kind of cut the dog leg, and that was just enough to nip Friesen at the line.
Yeah, that was incredible. Kyle Busch, really the only truck today that it looked like could actually make something happen on the bottom. He could pass on his own, and then coming off of turn number 4 to be able to make that happen. The field on their feet, cheering for Kyle Busch. He's got the checkered flag in his hands, waving to the crowd. He does his signature bow, and he will win another one here in the Craftsman Truck Series and in Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to check in with the top finishers as well, and you will hear from our race-winning driver, Kyle Busch, Mark.
Going by the numbers, 67 Craftsman Truck Series wins now for Kyle Busch. He has won 8 out of 15 truck starts here at Atlanta.
And this is the first of 5 Truck Series races that he will run this season here in 2025. And a big, big day for that Gainbridge machine at Spire Motorsports. A big smile on his face. Let's go down to pit road and hear from more of our top finishers. We'll start things off with Wendy Venturini.
I'm with Tyler Ankrum, who finishes 3rd here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tyler, tell us what you thought about this Truck Series race and your finish here of 3rd.
I was a little worried there for a little while that we weren't going to get a good finish at all. So hats off to the 18 team for bringing me a pretty good truck. You know, I really feel like we locked a lot of speed from what we had from last year. But you know what? We got involved in that accident about start of the 3rd stage, and you know, just worked really hard with Kevin Hamlin, my spotter, to get back up to the front. Our Lion Chevy truck's pretty good. It handled awesome in the pack. Goes right there behind Kyle coming 2 to go. So it was really cool. Should have made it move a little bit earlier, but we put ourselves in position to contend, and that's exactly what we need to do every single week.
All right, thanks. Great job out there by Tyler Ankrum. He comes home 3rd.
All right.
Andrew Curlin.
Thank you very much, Wendy Venturini. We appreciate that, and you're going to hear from more of the top finishers. Again, Kyle Busch will be headed over to Victory Lane as once again the winner of the Freight 208, Mark.
Kyle Busch just can get it done, man. He absolutely, when you put him in position to win, he comes away more often than not with the checkered flag. Let's go down to Andrew Curlin.
Yeah, Bailey Curry finishing in 4th. What a day. How would you describe your effort?
Just scratch and claw there. We had a problem yesterday in qualifying, had to start way back in the back, and this Nice 44 group, they just don't give up, man. We stayed with it all day, picked them off as we could, didn't really get in too big a rush. Wanted to go for the win there at the end. Was thinking about taking Kyle 3 and going bottom, but at the same time, I was thinking, it's just going to slow us all down, and then the Chevrolet won't win. So I just stayed behind Kyle. I was hoping maybe we can get a little slip out of 4. He didn't, and I'll take 4th or 3rd, whatever. I think we got the 18th of the line, but that's just me. But yeah, we'll take it.
Awesome. Well, what an effort by Bailey Curry. Let's go to Wendy.
I'm with Chandler Smith, comes home 5th here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Chandler, take us through, you were just reliving. Did you think you were about to lose control of the truck out there?
Oh, yeah, 100%. That one push that I got from the 52 right when I entered the tri-oval was just bad timing, and
luckily was able to gather it up, and they allowed me to gather it up out back and didn't just keep pushing me and just shove me out of the way, so appreciate that. But yeah, no, had a solid number 38 Quickside Products Ford F-150 today. Didn't have the raw speed we needed, honestly, just to go out and make big moves and be a huge contender. But fight and clawed from the back twice, and it was a hustle. We didn't have much help today, and we needed that, but we ended up salvaging the top 5.
All right, great job. That's Chandler Smith. Comes home 5th here, as you just heard Kyle Busch's truck headed to victory lane behind us.
11 leaders, 19 lead changes. I think 5 or 6 of those came in the last 5 laps. We had just 4 cautions for 28 laps, a little bit of a red flag period after an engine was blown. Kyle Busch leads 80 of the 135 laps as we go back down to Wendy Venturini.
Stuart Friesen coming home 2nd here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. How close could you almost taste it, Stuart?
Yeah, I mean, we had a good shot at it, but I knew anything and everything can happen there, and just the way the air worked on the last lap, just didn't, oh man, just 18 different things. I'll have to rewatch it, happened, and I knew when we kind of surged ahead and I got him pinned down there in turn 3, that might have been a kiss of death because I didn't have too much help pushing behind me at that point. But just big thanks to the whole Halmar team. What a strong truck. We overcame some adversity again, but qualified well, raced really, really well, and proud of the whole race team.
How much will you go back and watch those replays and kind of relive anything else you could do at that moment?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I'll be sick about it later on. I might give it a couple days and sit down on the couch with a couple cold beers and probably drown a couple tears with them too.
That's Stuart Friesen. Comes home 2nd, just shy behind Kyle Busch.
He was looking for his 4th Craftsman Truck Series win, and you talk about a guy that was hungry. 62 races now since his last victory, and he just barely lost that one by an eyelash. Let's go to Victory Lane and Andrew Curlin.
Yeah, here in Victory Lane with Kyle Busch. You got a shower of some water and Gatorade, but you had to earn that one. What was it like from your perspective, racing for that win?
Just trying to maintain the track position up front and trying to stay far enough forward that I can control my race anyways and, kind of keep cycling to the lead. But that inside lane got rolling there at the end. Those guys were moving forward and picking them up and getting further forward, and they would all kind of charge back to the top, and then somebody else would fill it in. When it got down to 3, I was like, okay, it's going to fall away here. Like, surely it's going to go away. Like, get out of here, And they just kept making it work. So great race for the fans, though. That was good for them that they got to see 2-3 wide finish there towards the end with a lot of bumping and pushing and no crashing. So, say something about the truckers, and it was good to put this Gainbridge Chevrolet in Victory Lane. So thanks to Spire, Brian, Patty, Jeff, Dan, everybody.
You pulled a few slide jobs out there. How sketchy is that here at Atlanta at those speeds?
It's not too bad. I mean, these trucks got a lot of stick. They got a lot of downforce. So there was a little bit of sliding around there. The older tires, obviously, there towards the end was a little bit slippery, but not too bad. So felt good to just get out there and run up front, be a contender, and pull out my late 2000s, early 2010 drafting skills and go to Victory Lane with it.
It was a tight finish. Did you think it was going to be that close coming to the line?
Yeah, when we were going side by side into 3, I was like, I've done this before. Let's see if I don't screw it up this time. And, we got out of 4, and luckily I was able to get the proper side draft and get the win, get to the checker flag first.
There you go, Kyle Busch using his experience to win here in the trucks at Atlanta, guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Andrew Curlin, by the way. Nice job for Andrew Curlin on his debut here on the network, and looking forward to hearing a lot more of him here in 2025.
So let's give you a full field rundown. Kyle Busch is your winner. Stuart Friesen finishes 2nd. 3rd, Tyler Ankrum. Bailey Curry 4th. 5th is Chandler Smith. Caden Honeycutt 6th. 7th, Ben Rhodes. Ty Majeski 8th. 9th, Jake Garcia. Grant Enfinger in 10th.
And finishing 11th, Gio Ruggiero. Michael McDowell was 12th. 13th, Matt Mills. Luke Fenhouse was 14th. Tanner Gray, 15th. 16th, Daniel Hemrick racing for the lead. Got all the way, dropped back to 16th. Dawson Sutton finished 17th. 18th with Josh Rayum. Spencer Boyd finished 19th, the last car on the lead lap. And Lane Riggs, 20th, 1 lap down.
21st, it'll be Jack Wood. Matt Crafton, 22nd. 23rd, Corey Heim. Tony Bredinger finishes 20th. 24th. 25th, Connor Mozak. Frankie Muniz is 26th. 27th, Andreas Perez. Justin Carroll, 28th. Raja Karuth, 29th. 30th, William Sawalich. Nathan Bird, 31st. And Keith McGee in 32nd.
Very exciting race day here. PRN will be back on the air coming up here in 30 minutes, 4:30 Eastern Time, with the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250. Jesse Love and last year's winner Austin Hill will lead them to the green flag after a big celebration here for Kyle Busch, Mark.
Kyle Busch, again, what can you say? I mean, they went after him. They were able to take the lead. They just could not hold him off.
Yeah, could not hold them off. A lot of stuff happening today, 4:30 Eastern Time, the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, the Am Better Health 400. Been a true pleasure here on the NASCAR Racing Network to call this Truck Series Freight 208. Want to say a big thanks to our broadcast crew, Andrew Curlin and Wendy Venturini on pit road. In the turns, Doug Turnbull and Pat Patterson, our engineers, Harold Hamrick, Bill Parrott, Ben Blevins, our race director, Laura Beth Barnhart. Sales and marketing was Jerry Horn, Alexis Erickson, Hank Lee, Barry Roach, David Stiles, and Caleb Whistler. Production, Kent Bernhardt. A big thanks to Ryan Horn for joining us up here as well. For my broadcast partner, Mark Garrow, my name is Brad Gilley. Stick around. We're coming up here in less than 30 minutes with the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Congratulations to Kyle Busch, winner of the Freight 208.
NASCAR Racing Network's Toyota Gazoo Racing information, visit TG.